Hello, everyone, and welcome to Week 8 of the Mortal Kombat Pro competition for the Oceania region. We're down to the very final week to see who will be qualifying for the regional finals. But I am Wonder Chef, joining Darth Arma again as we end of the season. I know that was a weird way to say that, but kind of accurate. Anyway, how you doing, Arma?
You got it. I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. We got a lot of great matches, a lot of points on the line, and not just points that are on the line, but very crucial points. But before we go into that, we do want to give a shout out to PS4 Tournaments. Remember, guys, PS4 Tournaments is a sponsor, a partner here for the Mortal Kombat 11 Pro competition. So you guys can support by checking out the PS4 Tournament Open Series. PS4 tournaments are weekly competitions of all skill levels. You guys can compete against your friends and rivals for unique rewards. You can visit the PlayStation 4 Competition Center, the one destination that has Mortal Kombat content that gives you an inside look at how top players play, and you get some tips and tricks for players of all skill levels. All you have to do is go to compete.playstation.com, sign in with your PSN ID, and you are good to go. A lot of content out there, and right now we got a lot of content here in this bracket. Chef, let's break it down.
Oh, yeah. So this is actually a really big deal today. Now, before I even go over the names, I just want to mention that, of course, this is the final day of this open season, essentially, to see who makes it into the top 8 for points, right? And then they'll qualify for the regional final. But the big deal here is that nobody in the top 6 has made it to the top 8. So I should say this, the top 6 in points has made it to the top 8 bracket for today. So all these players almost are within the 7th to 13th range. So today is going to be a brawl to see who can actually qualify. But we're going to start off the day with Subby Sub taking on Temp, Lion Cox taking on Yeet, which is a great name, by the way. Yeet, a new player to this this whole bracket, so I'm interested to see who they are and who they play. But then Solar Plexus taking on Rav, aka Ravioli, aka Raging Ravioli, which is, I think, a much cooler name. And then the Mojo Dojo FGC taking on Gilbags at the end. But yeah, a lot of these players, they're kind of within that mid range. I think the top are Gilbags and Solar Plexus, who are both in that just barely end of the top 8 spot. They're both tied for 7th, aka 7th and 8th. So they're fighting to keep their spot, but all of these players, almost all of these players, I think Yeet and Ravioli actually can't qualify still, but obviously they're still here to get some play in, get some pride. But everybody else completely has a chance in this entire bracket to push into that final 8, which is super exciting.
Yeah, and like you said, even though they don't have a clear shot or a possibility to get in there, they can still change things up in a bracket. So
Mhm.
it could them doing better or worse could mean somebody else not qualifying or qualifying because a lot of people here are fighting for the spot. So like it literally comes down to placements. We have some situations where somebody just has to outplace one other person and they're guaranteed in there. But of course, there's a lot of things up in the air depending on how everybody else with points around you qualifies, or how they're going to end up in today's bracket in terms of placements. So a lot to keep in mind. So that's just going to add to the level of stress that's going out here. And remember, what these guys are qualifying for is the sub-regional finals for Oceania, which is going to be the top 8 placers, and it's going to be a prize pool of $5,000 going to be taking place, I believe, a few weeks from now. But let's focus here on today, our first match here on the upper bracket, the winner side of the bracket. So a little bit less pressure here, but again, a lot easier, a lot less matches to be able to do it there through the winner side than have to go through the lower bracket.
Yeah, and okay, so again, I'm going to be talking about this a lot today. I made a whole spreadsheet for it and everything. I just want everybody to know exactly where people can place and where they're going to be placing at the end of the day. So we have Subby, who is currently in 13th place with 370 points, needs to get first to be able to qualify for the top 8. Needs to get first today and needs to stop a few other people from doing well, in particular the other players in the winners bracket. But then on the other side, there's Temp, who is actually one of the closest to being able to make it into that top 8. Only so just based on their minimum placements, just needs to outplace Gill Bags or Solar Plexus, and Temp will make that top 8 guaranteed. But interesting, we are going to see the start with the Collector going up against Subby's more classic Scarlet.
Yeah, kind of a traditional Subby here. Opens up with a command grab, but decides to go for an up 3. A wake up doesn't obviously lead to a combo, but does kind of get your opponent right off of you. Backing off using Scarlet's pretty good backwards movement here. That's going to be a little short hop, very fast, very unsafe stuff, but does find the momentum in the opening here with that standing low. Drops the Ender though.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Teleports behind the standing 4. I'm still really curious as to why Collector was chosen first here. We've seen Temp play a bunch of characters, just so many characters. I think the last time that we saw Temp on stream played maybe like 4 or 5 different characters throughout the entire bracket, and obviously extremely well. But why Collector against Scarlet? That's a question we may never know. But this is really cool because it's 2 characters that we don't really get to see all that often. And so far, it looks like Temp's doing well. But oh, that's a good way to start off the round.
Yeah, just kind of catch him sleeping there at the wheel. Oh, hits the overhead. Doesn't go for the second one to get that crushing blow. What a throw escape here coming out of Temp. Stands up a little too early for that fireball, or that blood ball, if you will. Trying to get as much of an advantage there in terms of movement. Kind of blocking, waiting for his opportunity, and Temp does find it. Gets the poke, successful poke. Tries to go for the command grab the second time around. A little bit of a drop here from Subby. And grab
another up. Okay, just backing up. I like that. That's one of the biggest things about Scarlet is that you can pressure, especially once you get them to the corner. The pressure is pretty effective, especially if you found an opponent that isn't really flawless blocking a whole lot, which I don't think is the case so far, at least. But, you know, when you get to that point where you just need a little bit of chip damage, it probably is a little bit safer to just instead use the space behind you rather than the lack of space in front of you.
Yeah, play it safe. Definitely what you want to do, especially when you have a huge life lead like that. Oh, just walks up, goes for possibly a fake throw attempt here. And just right into that low-hitting string, that standing string. Very deceiving, you know, when you look at it. Ends the combo here, does get some good damage, 35%. Doesn't look like much that Scarlet can do in this situation. Unfortunately, he'll be the victim of a very brutal death here.
I don't think I've ever seen that one, honestly. I mean, I think partially that's in fact that it's because of the fact that I never see Collector win, but I love his arms cheering. I've never seen that before, ever. He's like cheering for himself and clapping for himself at the same time. We need to see more Collectors win. I think that's one of my first tournament Collector wins that I've seen, which is a little bit sad, but it's cool to see, and definitely the first time I've seen that brutal in tournament.
I love how the arms almost seem like they're from like a different body, like a whole. They've got their own like mind, their own nervous system. I'd really love to see the anatomy of Collector. Maybe we're gonna see a little bit more of that. This next one, maybe Sub-Zero. I don't know. That's the default character you usually land on. No, we are going Sub-Zero, committing to Sub-Zero. Let's see what we're going to see in terms of how much this overhead, you know, when you go for the unsafe overhead, you know, if you're going to keep it unsafe, if you're going to equip creeping ice or not, or if you're going to go with a straight ice freeze here. Let's see what the loadout is for the Sub-Zero. So we have Rising Ice for some combo ability, Creeping Ice to keep it safe, like I said, and a little bit more mobility in terms of like an air projectile, the Polar Axe. So not your traditional 50-50 Sub-Zero. I'd say this one's going to be more of a play it safe, or as safe as possible. Beautiful jump, good call out there, but doesn't commit to the right string.
Yeah,
there with the slide.
I like this, actually, for that reason, exactly. I like this choice a lot to switch. Slide is going to be able to whiff punish a lot of things that a lot of characters can't easily whiff punish, or just the fact that, you know, it could be like a trade from that kind of mid-range with a raw ice ball where it might be a little bit too far away to be really scared of a jump in, and just that range where Collector wants to start doing kind of what his whole game plan is. So we'll see if the sub ends up working. It's also going to be able to give Subby a little bit more power on offense, of course, compared to Scarlet. So far, it's looking like it's sort of working, but I mean, Collector's damage, people won't talk about that enough. Collector actually has some of the highest damage in the game. Plus, he's got that whole Joker thing where you get the down 2 combos, so even if they break away, you're just basically doing the same combo.
Yeah, you're doing the same combo, and you're getting a really, really good, percentage of the combo you would have normally gotten versus if they didn't break away. So, gotta love having that on your side here. Not the easiest combos to pull off, but if you have it down, definitely worthwhile here. Goes to the creeping ice, doesn't amplify it, assuming because you want to save that bar for when you want to keep it safe. It's under that jump and a little bit of a scramble, but I do love that spacing there at the end. That back three decides to break away there at the end of the combo. Creep and ice, keep it safe no matter what. Obviously cannot hit confirm that, or very difficult to hit confirm that. Hopping up to the sky, drops the follow-up after that down two, but Subby coming out with a lot of overheads here, just kind of out the gate, kind of over committing to it, but it's definitely the right move here.
And that was a second really, really beautiful whiff punish. That's 2 in 1 round. I'll have the back three into the weight. Back three whiffing, or whiff punishing the down one on whiff. I said that twice. It's 2 things twice right there. But then also, of course, the back one to whiff the standing 4. That was all super, super good. And again, Subby really needs to win this to stay in the running for being able to qualify for the top 8. Needs to literally win the entire tournament. Temp, on the other hand, even if Temp loses, can still qualify through one more win, potentially in the loser's bracket, depending on how other people do. So this match, definitely winning, is a lot more important for Subby at this point. But again, if Temp wins, there's a really good chance he ought
Yeah. This is also the winner's side, though. So whoever does lose here is still going to be dropping down a lower side. Can always make it as long as you willing to put in that work. Here comes the big boot from Collector. He does have Fatal Blow. Is he going to use it? No. Tries to go for some kind of crazy reset, or maybe just drop the commitment there. But Subby out the gate. Of course, no matter what you have equipped on a Sub-Zero, you're always ready for that little Hail Mary in your back pocket. Forward to Fatal Blow, does so much damage. And even though she, didn't really need the damage there in that situation, still just need the opening, need the mix-up. And I feel like Temp could have gone, with cashing out with that Fatal Blow. It might have not killed, but it would have given Temp a little bit more control in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, the Collector Fatal Blow is such a weird one where you don't get a whole lot of really good situations to use it. I mean, you get a few, mostly though it is in combos, right? So you generally want to cash out kind of when you can with it. But you know what? Not going to get another chance. Immediately going to see the switch over to Jackie. But, Jackie against Sub-Zero, not one of those matches that Jackie just completely runs over. In fact, there's been some very good players who have actually chosen Sub-Zero intentionally in this matchup just to kind of counter Jackie because, hey, you know what? You get frozen once, you get knocked down, you're never going to be able to leap around again, very potentially. But we'll see how this ends up working. Of course, definitely considered a higher tier character than Collector. I think I could say pretty safely.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like a lot of people like using Sub in this matchup, mainly for that back one, where the little anti-air he does, where he just, throws the axe into, the air. Obviously, it does have, substantial hurt box, but, you could definitely use it if it's made correctly.
Oh, tried to back one whiff punish right as you're saying it, and yeah, could have been maybe like a back 2 there, but just a little bit out of range. And so now, I mean, Subby does have her Fatal Blow, just needs to land one hit, and I mean, it's going to be close to enough. Oh, just a stagger, but a great punish. I personally always let that go. When people do forward 2 with Sub into nothing, I'm always like, okay, what's coming next? And then nothing comes next. I'm like, oh, okay.
Very scary. It's very scary. Love the conversion here. Ends it quickly there with that short hop at the end. A little tricky with the overhead. Love the spacing. Jackie's got some of the best mids in the business. Best buttons. Up 3 from Sub-Zero. Fully invulnerable wake up attack. Getting a little tricky here with the staggers. Not really finishing that whole string, and kind of like you're not really anticipating it to hit. I feel like you're just getting a little too. I guess it's just like you definitely want to have some kind of intention behind the button that you're pressing. You don't want to go into it thinking oh, they're definitely going to block this, so let me go with some kind of stagger. So I want to see a little bit more commitment if we stay here on the Sub-Zero. But given how one-sided that last match is, I wouldn't be surprised if Subby switched to a different character.
Yeah, it was. I mean, definitely at least one sub got put in the corner. It was a pretty tough spot, but that's kind of anybody against Jackie. And I don't know what other characters really are a great option. I mean, I know Sub plays Scarlet and Sub, but I really don't know any of her other characters. And Scarlet not known to do particularly well against Jackie either. Scarlet definitely has a little bit of an issue with high mobility characters, especially ones that go to the air. But that did look like a pretty confident switch back to Scarlet, so maybe there's some sort of plan in play. We'll see if there's any maybe different moves that have been chosen as far as variations, or maybe it's just going back to a more comfortable character.
Yeah, I mean, some people, have a matchup studied really, really well as a certain character. Even though their secondary or the third character could be, better on the matchup chart, not necessarily meaning that it's going to be better for you. Kind of looked like the same loadout from before. Didn't see anything crazy there. But already I can see just the comfort of being in Scarlet skin again. Immediately go with that flawless block right out the gate. Oh, and the throw escape. An easy thing to do.
Ooh, that was a big risk. I actually tried to read the breakaway right there, which is a pretty interesting read to make so early on. But, I mean, a lot of these players have played against each other a lot, being of this region. It's not like the largest player base, so a lot of these players, especially playing in the pro competition, have matched up against each other a million times. So there's probably some experience in this matchup, which is why you go for a read that quickly. But, well, yeah, like you said, I mean, the confidence shows. The fact that there was a flawless block, there was a read on a breakaway, and, Cash is out! That's an interesting choice. Would have gotten temp really, really low without spending that crushing blow, but just wanted to guarantee it, which is understandable. Jackie has some of the best comeback potential in the entire game.
Look at that. I mean, look at this flawless block ability here. And again, every character flawless blocks the same, but when you don't have to second guess your movement, you know what I mean? Like, you're comfortable. Like, the timing. You don't have to think about how I'm moving or where I'm going to be, and you can focus on the timing of the crazy Jackie that's jumping in on me.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, honestly, technically, if you wanted to do flawless block, Sub gets like better conversions from flawless block and has better up two. Her up two is not actually that good. So, ideally it's technically worse at flawless blocking if you were getting really, really technical. But, like you said, it's just all about that comfort. But nice. Teleports in to try to counter the zoning, which is a really weird thing to say. But, all right, here we go. One grab. Might put a little bit more damage on the time. Yep, damage over time on the ground. That's a hard thing to say. Now just needs a little bit more damage. But Scarlet's got a lot of potential damage with the fatal blow. One opening here could lead to chip down.
Yeah, especially considering Jackie's got a little bit less health. If she just committed to that string, that could have been the end of Jackie. But hold on, still on the offense here. Jackie went for the parry. Getting health back. Time is running out, Chef. Time is running out.
Oh no, there's gonna be so much chip. There's gonna be so much chip. 2 seconds left and the crunching blow. What a read. What a read. What an ending there. That was an incredible round. Oh my god. Every single thing right there. I mean, like being able to survive against Jackie with the grenade launcher at that low of health, and then managing to find the perfect moment to pull out the parry to get back a little bit of life that ended up mattering so that she didn't get chipped to death, and then choosing all of the right, just every single option correctly at the end, avoiding the grab, getting the one-hit crushing blows that there was a guaranteed kill even before time ran out. Everything right there. That was sick.
So good. I mean, again, it was all these little micro decisions after micro decisions, and you got to do them quickly, you got to do them fast. But unfortunate for Subby in this situation, they're going to be falling victim to what economists call the first mover advantage. So the first person. The first person that has the ability to move away to a different character. We're back at the first matchup here in this first to 3. And when it was Scarlet versus Collector, Temp was the one that did come out on top here. Don't know if it's a matchup thing, but all that matters here in this first to 3 is this final match right here to see who's going to be fast tracking to the winners finals. guaranteeing third place here, and the points mean a lot. So pressure is on for both of these players. Neutral jump, but the standing string somehow did whiff there. Good thing Scarlet didn't commit to the whole kick string there with that forward three. Lifts him up with that that blood move of the grab. The choke, I don't know what you call it.
Boiling point, technically, it's called. So I think she's making their blood boil, which is pretty gross. But oh no, big combo. Oh yeah, this is gonna be. Oh, actually, it's not. I thought it was gonna be a lot more damage, but just goes for a reset, which actually might not have picked up all that much extra damage. Did manage to even up the life though, and here we go. Yeah, there is no defensive meter to break away. Again, goes for the reset. Why not just cash out a little bit more? But speaking of cashing out, that is gonna be the fatal blow conversion. I think this is gonna be enough. This is a hard. It's a hard one to tell.
Yeah, that last hit. 42% is really a huge chunk, you know, and even looking back on that last game, you said, you know, Scarlet just needs that one fatal blow, especially on characters with less health, but in this case, Collector's not one of them, has regular health just like everybody else. Love the challenge back with those highs, but you gotta watch out, it could be a poke next time coming out after Collector's a little bit negative. Goes for the rest of that string, and that's really the guessing game here. You got to figure out what's coming after the boot there, after that big kick from the Collector. Big jump in, gets that string, goes into the bola, and able to kind of get a little bit more damage. Trying to maximize his damage, but misses the hard part of the combo there. Right after that down two, not the easiest thing to pull off.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you get a good amount of damage from that anyway. Still, though, a great flawless block that we saw out of Subby. And here we go, one more hit. Again, trying to read the breakaway. We haven't seen Temp fall for that a single time, and there might not be even another chance to make that read. But here we go, immediate breakaway. There's nothing that Collector can do without the Relic Lore, but the grab is going to be it. And after losing to this matchup pretty badly, Subby managing to bring it back. I just think she took all the momentum after that ridiculous round where she won and that final like 2 seconds. But that is, again, a really, really good thing for Subby as far as trying to make it into the top 8. So, like I said, I've got my spreadsheet over here on the side, which is I'm not going to be looking at y'all, but I'm going to update it to see. So, okay, so Subby is guaranteed at least third now, right?
Third. Yeah, third Subby now in the winners finals. So, you know, theoretically, if they were to lose in the winners finals and then lose in the losers finals, they will be going home with third place. But like we stated before, that is not going to be enough to guarantee that spot into the regional finals. The regional finals are going to be taking the top 8 players of the standings. And again, we are looking at the standings piece by piece. And I guess we're talking about the whole tour here. You guys can kind of see the breakdown of all the different regions here. 8 qualifying weeks per region. The top 8 players in points and standings for the sub-regions of the Intercontinental Kombat and of Liga Latina and Oceania are all going to be going to the sub-regional finals there. And for NA East and West, the top 16 players are going to be moving on to the regional finals there. And it's all about points. Right now, we're trying to solidify. And again, I really love the way that this point system was structured out, and it makes this, you know, every single week count. And, you know, I knew we were going to get here. I knew we were going to get here to a situation where somebody needs like just enough points to squeak by somebody else. And we're there, man. We're there. So what did we find out, Chef? I know you're crunching numbers there.
Yeah, so again, I mean, really the situation has somewhat stayed the same. It's just more that Subby has taken the first step, right? So she needs to obviously win the whole tournament, which is a lot easier said than done. But I mean, with a showing like that, definitely a possibility. Already within the top 3. So, I mean, that is a huge, huge step. But also, the 2 players, Gilbags and Solar Plexus, are a huge kind of like decision maker in this top 8, right? To see who qualifies, because they're currently in the top 8. So if they do not so great this week, they could potentially both go out in the first round, considering the fact that they're both in the losers bracket of this this top 8 bracket. If they don't do well, then that's a really good sign for other people who are here. But, again, we're still a little bit early, I think, in the bracket to really guarantee who's going to make it. So we'll have to see how everybody else does. And we are going to be moving to the other side of the winners bracket, where we're going to see Lion taking on Yeet. And I mentioned this earlier, but Yeet is a wild card, really. I mean, nobody knows who they are, as far as I know. They aren't in the points, so they have absolutely no chance of actually qualifying. And Lion is actually he's in a really good spot to qualify, I would say.
Yeah.
Currently sitting at 11th place. Just needs to, again, just do well in this match, and then that might put him into the top 8. So we'll see how that ends up working. But wow, another Collector and a Nightwolf. What a region we are, where we get to see Collector, Scarlet, Collector, Nightwolf in the first 2 games of winners.
Love it. Love
Oh,
to
and
see
Hannah's
the
Wrath.
Diversity. Okay. A little bit of a different side of Nightwolf. Let's see how this pans out here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeet. Did you see Yeet's third move? It was
No, I didn't
none.
see that one.
Chose no move for the third slot. Took the command grab, took the teleport, and had nothing for the third slot. I don't know what's going on, but
I mean,
we'll see.
I'm not. It could be like, whatever move, all the other moves that are one slot make you sacrifice like a move that already exists. I mean, it could be a weird situation like that. How obviously no one would ever willingly equip Sub-Zero's shoulder because Slide is just too good. But I've never seen someone.
In my experience,
with an empty spot.
I mean, I have played plenty of Collector in my life, and just knowing what he's got, I think that's literally just that he just chose not to have a move. And there are some one-slot moves that you can at least take, like Bag Bomb, for example. I believe it's just one slot, but chose not to. However, still doing quite well. And oh, what? One hit into it, not a confirm, just went for it, and it was a good call.
Man, it was the good call. Maybe he saw that move, whiffing out there in space. Maybe he knew that forward 3 was going to connect. And just kind of kick confirmed right into the fatal blow for some good damage here. Right now, not where you want to be if you are Lioncock, because, you're like right at the cusp. Like, you need to do well today in order to, guarantee that spot. And right now, he's going for a ride, a huge ride in the corner, standing position, trying to look for something and hitting north here right after, trying to get that command grab to whiff. Remember, guys, that's a mid command grab. No neutral ducking for you. Big jump in to chase down that rollback. Didn't quite punish it, but did get the momentum of swinging afterwards. Gonna shut down the usage of meter while Collector is glowing yellow like that. Such a good move here from Nightwolf.
Yeah, it's a really rare one to be chosen. I've seen a few players who have chosen it to try to go up against, for example, Sub-Zero, but another nice conversion. 2 rounds in a row ending with beautiful conversions into Fatal Blow. And you don't really get to see either of these Fatal Blows all that often, because they are really only for closing out rounds when you get that chance. And I guess both of them have used it in that exact way. But yeah, we're seeing just such a weird matchup. It's strange too to see Lion immediately go for the Hannah's Wrath setup in particular. I mean, you have to give up a lot. Nightwolf has the issue of not having a whole lot of slots for a whole lot of moves that he wants. And you have to give up, like the command grab, which is your strongest ender, or you have to give up like the lightning arrow, which turns your character completely into like a zoner. There's just a lot of things that you could be getting instead. So I'd be curious as to why this is being chosen in this matchup.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good move. It does hit as a mid, so it's just kind of like something that's always going to annoy you as long as you got, the space. Love the overhead, able to confirm thanks to that super long string. Trying to bully him as much as he can here with that auto shimmy there, the stand 1-1-1. Goes for the neutral jump swing, but nobody is home. Collector just needs one more hit here, and he does find it. Yeet taking a commanding lead here. That first game going to the Collector. And again, you gotta wonder, like, is this just the pressure coming down on Lioncock? Because you have on one side someone who's playing to qualify for big prize pool tournament. And on the other side, you have someone who's playing essentially right now for fun, playing for the experience, playing because, doing what we love to do. We love competing. We love playing games. Whether it's for $0, $100, or way more. This is what we love to do, and sometimes that can kind of affect the way that certain people perform. Some people are awful under pressure, and me and Jeff, we've been in the FGC long enough. You've met that person who just like refuses to enter tournaments, but they're really good. Like they play a ton of casuals, and they're so good. They know all the frame data, matchups. They have an opinion on every character, but you're like, hey man, you should really sign up for the tournament. They're like, no, I'm okay. Really, it's just they don't want to deal with the stress or the pressure of competition, and it's not for everyone. But it's really cool that someone will go above and beyond whether they're competitive or not competitive.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's scary, but this is this is an interesting spot though, because again, like Yeet basically gets to do whatever they want. They don't need to like worry about the pressure, right? Like they're in the spot where it's a tournament with zero pressure. They just get to mess around, play point, or I guess 2/3 variation collector, and just try to show off. It's an interesting thing. And the other side, Lion is fighting for his life of being able to qualify for the big money tournament at the end of the season. So this is like full pressure on one side to, I don't even care what happens, I'm just going to troll basically. And that's kind of a lot of power. It really depends on what kind of person you are. I've also seen people who, on the opposite of what you said, suck at casuals or just absolutely terrible. When they get in the tournament, they are so good. They're like an entirely different player. So just whatever powers you up personally.
Yeah, sometimes they need that flame to power up the sword. Love the block, the overhead, getting that full combo punish, and that shows you somebody who really understands this matchup, understands how to block Collector, where the overhead or low options are, and how safe they are, how unsafe they are. Just perfectly demonstrating it here. Lioncock's just trying to get that chip damage here as much as possible. Love the fake out there, tries to go for some kind of win, but it doesn't matter. Lioncock's in full control, check in there with the shoulder at the end.
I gotta say,
see if we go to it.
I think that was such a good read, but that was really weird, the arrow whiff, right? But the arrow cancel into the walk forward, walk back, arrow again. I thought that was dope. Still managed to get the shoulder, which is cool. But yeah, that was that looked like a very different game than the first one. I think he's got a little bit more control over how everything's going to go. But yeah, I don't know if there's any other characters for Yeet. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. It could literally be anybody. And it could literally be like a character with no custom moves equipped. Who do you think the best character on the roster would be with no custom moves? Jackie?
Immediately.
Just
I
straight
immediately knew the answer.
Flinch?
Jackie. Yeah, you don't need anything with Jackie. Jackie still has conversions with Grease Kick, still has enders with all of her combos don't require moves, right? Like you still have some of the best mids in the game, you still have really good pressure, you still got a good grab strike game. It's for sure Jackie, right? Oh well, I mean Garrett's pretty good too with that variation probably, but I still think I'd say it's overall Jackie.
I don't know, man. It sounds like upplaying to me. Sounds like upplaying. We're talking about a hypothetical situation where it doesn't matter, and you still want to upplay Jackie. Hey, I'm pretty sure the Jackie community hates you.
Oh, probably. But most community hate me, I think, at this point. So I'll take it. But here we go. Both going in with the same exact thing. Obviously, you kind of have to if you're Lion, but Yeet, not playing out any other wild characters, just going to be sticking with his collector. And it's really interesting to see this more zoning style. These arrows, as you can see, are just so high. Like, they're highs and mids, but it's like a super high, that's what we're going to call it, because it goes over a lot of mids just doing their thing, Like, for example, we saw, he's doing forward 3 and it's just going underneath the arrows. They're super high up. I think good old Nightwolf needs to learn to crouch down a little bit while he's shooting them.
It's like the opposite of a true mid. It's like it's almost never a mid. Whereas true mid always never ever a mid. Popping up for a big combo, easy down to, no need to do any kind of fancy conversion. And Yeet taking control of the situation again, trying to snipe him out of the sky there with that mace. He's trying to swing it around here. Swings back here. Not the fastest normal in the world, but definitely a great one to check people in case they are neutral ducking. That low, you gotta love it here from Collector once you're point blank with him. Of course, he's got the other options like command grab, which does hit as a mid. Backing off, trying to press some buttons here. Bola, and I love that Nightwolf was able to kind of close the distance once he blocked the Bola, knowing that he is super advantageous here. Gonna throw him into the corner, not going for any crazy throw mix in this situation. A lot of down ones here, super disrespectful play coming out of Heat, if I do say so.
Yeah, just pressing a lot of buttons, but I mean, it's kind of a thing that you can do against Nightwolf. Kind of a tough character to really enforce your turn with, and that is one of his bigger issues, I would say. But there's still a chance, you know, there is still Fatal Blow available. We did see in the very first game that both of these players are super good at finding those conversions, but as I say that, a couple opportunities dropped. I just think we need to see Lion with a little bit more confidence in the reads, or we might see some big heavy read. Oh no, we're not going to see anything. We're going to see a game 4. That's all that we're going to see. Now we're going to see another Brutal. We are 2 times now for Brutals today. We've got the back arms again. We're doing it. Oh yeah. Raise them. Oh yeah.
It looks like a completely different person back there. Like somebody else is controlling the arm.
Or like somebody standing behind him, you know, and they're just looking at their arms. Yeah, exactly. I can't believe I've never seen that.
100% what it looks like. a lot of content. I'm not surprised you haven't seen it. A lot of content in this game. You know, all different brutalities are being, you know, added, or you know, if you haven't lost a Collector enough, you're not going to see all the brutals. I guess it just kind of speaks to how good you fight the Collector. So, open challenge to anyone. Chef will not lose to any Collector ever. Just kidding.
No, you see, it's the opposite. It's not that I'm not losing to Collectors, it's that I'm playing Collector and losing constantly. So if there's anybody out there who will let me win with my Collector, then please do so that I can actually see the brutalities. But as it stands, it's not a likely thing, I think. But here we go. So now Lion is going to lock into Nightwolf for the rest of the set. This is going to be just one more for Yeet. Yeet Lion into the losers bracket.
Yeah, it's not where you want to be, especially with, you know, you're on the cusp of qualifying here, and there's so many people that are ahead of you that are in this bracket. You don't want to drop down. You're in a good position. You're starting on the winner side. Try to stay on the winner side. If Lion Cox wins this set, he is guaranteeing himself 3rd place or better for today's tournament. So a lot of pressure here. Oh, blocks the overhead, but doesn't get the punish, but does somehow get the momentum to stay on his side, and he does catch Heat holding onto blocks, acceptable to that throw. Oh, loves to put back. Loves to put back.
Constantly, but like I said, you know, there it is. He's doing it again. It's really, really hard to enforce it. We see a lot of Nightwolves kind of try to flawless block, but it's really one of like the best ways, right? As far as other mids, like he can back 3, 4, but you don't want to always throw that out, and it is pretty minus overall. I mean, you can forward 1, 2, but it also leaves you really minus in your face, so it's not easy to stop a lot of these down posts with this character. But, you know, maybe not going to need to. Lion pretty dominantly taking that round. And, yeah, I did do the math again just right now. And if Lion manages to win this puts him comfortably into, I believe, 6th place. Or maybe it's 7th place. But, you know, sitting in that top 8 just with that win alone. So, just really, really needs this. And Yeet just wants to sow chaos.
Oh yeah, just wants to, you know, do it for the love of it. Do it for the love of destroying somebody's dream of qualifying here for the sub-regional final. A lot of neutral jumping here, but you really can't blame Lion Cox for going for that. I mean, you know, you're going up against a character with a good command grab who's in your face. Yes, make the risk reward pretty much even here. You gotta go for it. Tries to get the down 1, strange conversion here for the airborne character. And I love how much he is blocking that overhead, you know, kind of realizing that you don't really have to be too scared of any lows. Oh my, did he just walk into wake up fatal blow?
He didn't even press a button, he just walked up and got hit by it. It was like he was It's like if you remember that old Quan Chi fatality where he like puts up the knife and then makes you just walk into it, just like mind controls you into it. It's exactly like that, but with a fatal blow, and it's Collector this time. Oral Quan isn't in this game. But yeah, that was weird, you know? Didn't try anything, didn't try meaty, I don't know what it was supposed to be. It almost looked like it was the best bait of all time, but maybe block just didn't come out fast enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might have been expecting roll, and I think he was waiting for roll. That's my guess. That's the only thing that I could think of because, you know, obviously you want to block up threes, you want to block up twos, but rolls are a little bit more. Yeah, see how he's hunting down this roll? Maybe he thought he was going to try to roll out of the corner and he tried to jump back. Who knows? But right now, does get the forward throw. It's pretty good Oki for Nightwolf, but decides to back off, getting that hit there with the Hawk, shutting off any use of meter here. Getting a lot of damage all the way to the corner, and he hunted him down. Meaty buttons for days, the 1-1-1 right on top of Collector's body. I'd assume he's probably holding up. You know, a lot of people like to jump out of the corner because they don't want to be restricted. So, good call out. Good call out here from Lioncox. Final game situation here. Set tied up 2-2. Of course, we keep reiterating this. So much pressure here. So much pressure on Lioncox to do well. You want to get into that winners finals. You want to get as high of a placement as possible because you can't, there's some, you know, half of this bracket, you're not going to be able to control how somebody does in terms of placement, whether they do, you know, better or worse than you. You just got to do as much as you can here. And I feel like if he gets that third or second place, he's definitely going to be solidifying his spot there in the sub-regional finals where they're going to be playing for $5,000. So first step is let's get there and heat. Highlighting Liu Kang. You know, you were talking about having a... Never mind. Going back to Collector.
Yeah. I mean, Liu Kang would have been a good pick. You know, Liu Kang does a lot of what Nightwolf does, but better. But looks like maybe, you know, this isn't as much of like a funny pick as more of the main. I mean, we do see the Collector on the card. And I do have to point out that the Hannah's Wrath really came into play in that last game. I don't remember seeing if there was defensive meter or not, but he landed the Hannah's Wrath and then immediately launched and spent out all of his meter, which meant that there was no chance of a breakaway. It was a very, very cool way to actually use Hannah's Wrath, and I think that's probably a good part of why we're seeing it in this variation. So we'll see if that ends up happening again. But being able to, you know, use a rarer pick to its full effect like that, and especially to be able to tie up the set, it's got to feel really good. So we'll see if Lion can continue with this momentum. Reading the breakaway, but usually the breakaway is going to happen before that down 2 is able to come out. Still down to a lot of damage. He's taking the lead.
Well, I think Collector is really, really good up 3s and up 2. You know, they have really, really good ranges. He gets some pretty good damage off the up 2 if he does connect. So I think Hannah's Wrath is going to be good at, you know, minimizing those options. Not so afraid of it. Does get the command grab. It's not enough to seal the deal. Tries to go for as much as they wake up, but hold on, it hit from behind. It hit from behind the knife.
Oh no! What a terrible pick. That would have been a full combo punish for sure. For sure. And actually, that was that? No, he's using the same variation, right? That was just the projectile counter. For a second, I thought he was using Relic Lure, but no, I think he was using the same variation. Same colors and everything. All right, the overhead landing, though. This is looking like a very, very strong round. I don't know how you could possibly make this comeback. That's going to be super tough. We might be going into a final round of the set and just needs to find a few more openings. The Hannah's Wrath does actually kind of enforce a lot of chip over time if you're trying to play really, really safe. So that could come into play really well here. Like, in fact, using it right here, you know, could put it into last breath territory. It does have a cooldown, though, which is why we're not seeing it basically, like, spammed over and over. All right, here's a chance to mix. The stagger, the cancel, the fake cancel. Oh, no. I mean, Fatal Blow's gone, but another reset. And look at this. This is maybe one more hit away. Oh, no. Breaks away really late. Blocks the overhead. Wow, that was a 50-50 situation. Go to the overhead or the low after that string. Guessed correctly. That could have been it if it wasn't correct. And that means we are going to a final round. And this could be the round that decides basically whether or not Lion manages to make it into the regional finals. But it also could, you know, put push somebody out of the regional finals. So this is a huge, huge round. Lion has a lot riding on this. Yeet just trying to do what he's been doing. But right now, they both neutral jump at the same time. What a weird situation, but also wasting his meter and letting the Hannah's Wrath and getting the corner. This is looking very good for Lion, but we've seen Yeet fight out of this corner, especially with down ones, a lot so far this set. Dude, he might get a chance to do it again.
Okay. He rolls past him, gets a huge combo punish, throwing down, and there's going to be very little Yeet can do, but he does throw tech there. Get off of me. Here comes a swinging and the down one on Yeet's wake up, and that's going to be enough for Lioncock to get into that winner's finals. Right now, Lioncock solidifying third place or better here in today's tournament, and that's going to be incredible for his standings and for his chances to getting into that final. What a set, man. What a set.
Yeah.
It came down to the wire.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of, I think, just adapting to the player. There were a lot of times where I would say Yeet was able to really get off a lot of like kind of disrespectful options, is really the only way to put it. And I think that was kind of in Lion's head for a little bit, or at the very minimum, just wasn't something that Lion was super ready to deal with. But then as time went on, it looked like be more and more solid, just understanding the situations. But, it really, I think so much of it came down to just that final guess, that final mix-up where Yeet had so much momentum, had like 3 resets in a row, but it was just like one more guess, and luckily that guess went to Lion. Luckily for Lion. And yeah, now so far, both of our players that have won in the winner's bracket have really, really needed that win. So that is going to pretty comfortably put Lion in the 7th place spot. And that means that, so actually, I don't know exactly how this works. I'd be curious, maybe if our admins can tell us, but if there is a tie for the final placement in the top 8, I wonder how they decide who gets that spot, because as we stand, Gilbags and Solar Plexus are tied for 8th. Basically, they're both at 8th, right? They're both sitting there,
Yeah,
8th and 9th. So, obviously, they still have a chance to win a little bit later today, but still, that's going to put so much more pressure on them.
Yeah. Basically, because they're going into this with the same amount of points, and they're both starting on the lower side of the bracket, it is possible that they could be coming out in the same placement. But we do want to give a shout out to Astro for being a partner here for the Mortal Kombat 11 Pro Competition. Huge shout out to Astro Gaming, the official audio partner for Mortal Kombat 11. Like I said, all caster audio is powered by Astro for the entirety of this season. Please visit astrogaming.com to find out more information on all their officially licensed PlayStation audio products, which are available now. Guys, go check it out. Get some good product for yourself. Treat yourself. It's going to be a great time. Just like this is going to be a great time seeing how this lower side. Now, this is where the pressure is on, Chef, because whoever loses here is going to be out of the tournament. No longer able to get any of those points right now. Super excited because I see Baraka on the screen going up against Jackie. Are we going to see Spine Burst versus Bionic Bounce?
Ooh, that's definitely something we've seen before. But okay, I guess let's look at this. It's about to show up, and then I'll talk about the points because it's big. Okay, Blade Charge and Leg Kebab alongside Spine Burst. I like this variation a lot. It's a lot of things that you don't really see paired together all that much. I mean, a little bit more common now, but this gives you the opportunity to mix. This gives you the opportunity to control the air against Jackie, which is obviously the main thing. And of course, Blade Charge is just a kind of one size fits all. Lets you convert off of 4-4-4. Lets you convert off of like weird air to airs and armor breaks. So I like this variation quite a bit.
Oh, right there we see the Spine Burst coming into play here. Very fast, very consistent anti-air. But again, Jackie can obviously not just mindlessly go in there. She can kind of fake it, go for a dash punch after you go for a Spine Burst. So it's all about, is being the most on point. Does get the failed escape there the second time around. So that Crushing Blow is loaded if Solar Plexus decides to go into it. Now Jackie doesn't have less health, so just a little block string into a throw could be enough, but doesn't matter. Decides to go past that. There goes the Spine Burst. Love seeing Jackie getting sniped out of the sky. I'm sorry if that sounds a little bit biased from my end, but you love to see consistency. You love to see people using options that they can use. Goes for a low stagger. Back throw, forward throw. big forward throw here. So lots of damage thanks to that pressure flow requirement.
Yeah, but this is going to be... Oh, that was a really late breakaway, but manages to wake up with buttons. And that is one of the biggest advantages of Lake Kebabs, that you can spend a bar and guarantee that you can side switch if you want to. Actually, there's a lot of different ways that this character can do that, but that was an unnecessary one at the end, as this is going to be a very strong first game for Solar Plexus. And so now that we're actually done with the very first game, I want to talk about the points for this, because this is the first one where we can guarantee that somebody will lose their spot. And now, Raging Ravioli, aka Ravioli, aka Rav. I still wish they'd entered with Raging Ravioli. I think it's a great name. But they have no chance, right? They're sitting at 22nd, and unfortunately, you know, they just maybe didn't start entering the season quite early enough, which is, I mean, obviously they've made it to where they're at now, and they've got some points under their belt already. So, you know, great stuff to them. Just unfortunately, they're just going to be a little bit short, even if they win the entire tournament. However, Solar Plexus, like I said, started the day at basically the 8th place spot, so the very final person in the top 8. And if Solar Plexus loses now, has already been pushed out as far as points go by Temp because of that last match. So Solar Plexus needs to win this, or his chance to make it to the top 8 regional finals is completely gone. Yeah, that was weird. Why did he choose Cetrion? And Raging Ravioli goes over. He's like, no, you chose this character. You chose this character. You have to play this character. But okay, so that obviously huge stakes. But I'm really excited for this because we're finally seeing it. I was wondering if we were going to see it. Shao Kahn with the buffs. This is one of the first, like, I think, official NRS streams since we've seen the buffs for Shao Kahn, a few other characters, and a few nerfs for some characters. So we haven't really seen any of them come out today. This is the first one. Let's see how the Shao does. I love the purple costume too.
Yeah, this is definitely that first, the first big tournament here with these buffs in place. And Shao Kahn, did get probably the most amount of buffs from that last little patch. Let's see if he can utilize some new things here. Is able to cancel into that. Able to just kind of swing up. Got a lot of new BNBs, Shao Kahn. Access launchers, big damage. Oh, love it. Love to see.
Yeah, this is... See, I think that the last game with the Jackie, that was just Rav, right? And now this is Raging Ravioli, right? When we see these combos. But, right now, maybe pushing it back down to just Ravioli, taking away the Raging. There's, the leap is blocked and the poke back. Great stuff. That looked like that was just going to just run away from Solar Plexus, but he just stayed solid, which is kind of what you have to do as Baraka. But Rav really showing off some great stuff. I mean, a lot of that stuff wasn't, I think, really new, but overall, we see the leap a lot more. I don't know if is the advantage bigger that you were able to get back 3 now? I need to double check what the buffs are as we go through this, but so far, regardless, this looks like a lot more of a comfortable character to me than the Jackie did. So I don't know if it was like an original main or if it's still the main and Jackie's just a little higher tier character, but regardless, I think this is looking quite good.
Definitely super good here. And I feel like you're going to be seeing, comfortable. Oh, swinging there at the end, getting that last little hit, going right to the kebab, amplifying it, and keeping him away from the corner. Not sure if he was looking for that brutal, trying to space it out, because nice amount of space between, like kebab, amplify, throw in front, and then right into the back. Chopped his arms off, clean.
Mm-hmm. That is a weird error. I don't think I've ever seen that error before. Actually, the game session is desynchronized, right? I don't know if I've ever seen that, which is weird because I've been watching this game for a million years and playing it for however long it's been since release. I don't know. Time is an illusion right now, but that was weird. Clearly not like somebody actually leaving, but we're definitely going to be getting the players back into the lobby. And as it stands, it is that pretty solid 2-0 lead now for Solar Plexus. Luckily, whatever that was happened in between games and not during a game, because that's always a gigantic heartbreaker. But yeah, so far things are looking good. What do you think about the Shao Kahn versus the Jackie, as opposed to using the Jackie?
I mean, Shao Kahn, even with those buffs, they were still very, very minor buffs. Obviously, people want more, especially if you're trying to compare them to a character like Jackie, who is just phenomenal. Really, really good character. Again, there's nothing wrong with a game having, stronger characters or other characters. It kind of sets up the stories, makes things a little bit more hype. When you have a really strong character going against not so much seen or a lower tier character. Love the low tier heroes. Shout outs to all the low tier heroes out there. Just
Yeah,
play what they
which
want to play.
by the way, there's a lot of. Can we just point out now? Okay, the characters that we've seen today, right? So we've seen Jackie a couple times, but we've seen Collector twice. We've seen Scarlet. We've seen Sub-Zero, not that rare. But then we saw Nightwolf. We saw, oh yeah, like I said, Collector again, and then we saw Baraka. And then we saw Shao Kahn. Like, what is this? This is always so fun to watch this region, right? Like, okay, normally it's not quite this this many of the like weird out of their characters, but today is I don't know, it's really cool to see, right? And not only that, they're choosing some weird variations. We saw the 2/3 of a variation Collector. We saw the Hannah's Wrath as like a commitment, not as like a gimmick, but as like, this is how I'm trying to play the character on Nightwolf, which is super cool to see. I think that's such a cool move. We saw the Scar was pretty normal. The Baraka is like it's very, I'd say very intentionally like an anti-Jackie Baraka variation, which is really cool to see, because that is one of those characters you can kind of design that way. I mean, I love Baraka, played a lot of Baraka. The Shao Kahn, it's, I mean, it did have like the spear moves, which is a little bit weird. We tend to see kind of some of the more classic Shao variations still doing, I don't want to say doing very well, but doing the best of any of the Shao variations. So it's been a weird day so far, but it's cool, right? It's very, very cool to see. I think we might see a little bit more kind of classic characters later on, but it does sound to me like we're getting these players back in relatively quickly. Hopefully nothing happened to any of their internets or anything like that. But like I was saying, I do have the points up, and this is really big, right? If we do see the win here, I lost my spreadsheet. So if we do see the win here from Ridge and Ravioli, like I said, unfortunately, there's just nothing, but we do get to see a Shao Kahn win, which would be pretty sick. But if we do see Solar Plexus win and guarantee at least that 5th place spot, does move up and then puts the pressure on Gilbags, who's going to be one of our next players that we get to see. And that actually is going to be between 2 players that are really looking to qualify. And we can talk about that a little bit more when we get to that. But Solar Plexus really wants to win this. Hold on, let me do a really quick math check. So if Solar Plexus wins this, then it will put him above Lion again. So then Lion has to win yet another game, or Gilbags has to win another game. Everybody's in such close running here. I'm so glad it ended up this way, I'm so glad it wasn't like 4 of the people just auto-qualified and they're just here to win, and like the other 4 just can't qualify. It's like a real mix of like who can place, and also you don't want to be in especially that final spot, because this is probably the region with the most dominant top player with Waz, right, who has just won all but one of the tournaments that he's entered for the Mortal Kombat Pro competition. So being in 8th place means that in seeding, you're probably going to be playing against Waz, considering the fact he's guaranteed himself that #1 spot already. So you don't want to be in that spot. Obviously, you'd rather be in 8th than 9th, but you really want to get at least 7th. And here we go, going back in. It is going to be back to the Jackie.
Yeah, back to the Jackie. Like you said before, this Baraka build almost seems like very anti-Jackie. Normally you see, the command grab for, some kind of really long-range mix-up, or gutted for cashing in big time on a lot of big damage. This one had either one of those things. Had got the leg kebab for a little bit of a mix-up, and the spine burst, of course, to try to control Jackie on the jumping. And you can see already that Ravioli is a little bit already adapting to, not trying to jump in. Normally at the end of that combo, Jackie players love to jump in, but he's already cautious of the spine burst. So saying, all right, let me take a step back. And I think that decent kind of gave him a little bit of a breather, like, whoa, let me figure out what I was doing wrong here. Whoa, duck it under. And I guess got the damage boost there from the down to crushing blow. I'm sorry, the damage boost from the flag into the down to crushing blow. So it seemed like a very specific setup here. Maybe he just kind of knew that she was going to go in with that dash punch right after the flag was planted. It does have some recovery, but not much. Maybe the kebab instead of...
It's a bit of a weird move to see, too. So I think that it's just a lot of times people aren't quite ready 100% because you're like, wait a minute, oh, I forgot he had that. And then you're like, oh, I can punish that. And then you dash punch, and then suddenly you're eating half of your life with a crushing blow. But ooh, goes for the hammer. Hammer time. Oh, and again, the spine burst. Yeah, I think at this point, Rav needs to realize you just can't do the raw full screen jump in. Soul Plexus is just too ready for that.
On top of it. You know, just put an end to it. And he's being very reactionary about it. Like not really committing to spine blade before shooting the ground. Whoa, trying to connect that blade spark, but just a little too close.
Ooh, and okay, so this is a really late conversion into Fatal Blow, so I don't know if I like this. This is something that we do see Jackie do quite a bit. It added some damage onto the combo, but you get no Oki after that Fatal Blow, and yeah, you see that? It went back to neutral, and then Baraka won it, which is, you know, being in neutral is, especially against this variation, the spot that you want to be as Baraka. You control, you've got the Fireball game, you've got the Anti-Air game, and so ending with maybe a lower damage ender that was going to give you Oki and allow you to get one more mix-up, which you could convert again then into the kill with the Fatal Blow. Might have been a better option right there, but I know that it is really tempting to try and cash out for as much damage as possible, especially with a cool combo like that. However, unfortunately, that was just not the way it went, and we are going to see the Raging Ravioli go home, just return to normal Rav, and we're going to see Solar Plexus continue to hold on to his spot in the top 8 qualifier as he's going to move forward and again, you know, just wants to keep on winning. So that is a huge win for him. Definitely the most one-sided win of the day so far, but overall it just seemed like the Baraka was a really good plan against the Jackie. You know, there are some counter picks. Sometimes it's not really what you expect to see, but that worked perfectly.
No, yeah, it definitely worked. And again, sometimes it takes a little bit of adjusting. Like I saw some of the patience coming out of Ravioli in, you know, that game number 3, you know, the first 2 rounds, but definitely all caution thrown to the wind afterwards. You know, just kind of lost in the moment. You know, a lot of people like to, I feel like a lot of approach with playing a character like Jackie is like, okay, let me go on offense and see if you know how to deal with this. And if you don't know how to deal with this, I win. But if you do know how to deal with it, okay, then we go into this little, you know, this little dance in the neutral. And I feel like we just never got there. And I feel like Ravioli was just kind of like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And, you know, you really don't want to do that against a character with such a consistent anti-air. Yeah, it's not a lot of damage. And, you know, some people will argue that, you know, even though it is consistent, I just need to successfully get one jump in to do just as much damage as, you know, 4 or 5 or 6 spine bursts anti-airing me out of the sky. So, you know, it's kind of like gambling. You know, you keep going into that well, just saying like you keep pulling that slot. Like I'm gonna cash in. I'm gonna cash in big time with Jackie. Chef, let's talk about PS4. Let's give him a big shout out here.
Oh yeah, of course. You know, huge shout outs to PS4 tournaments, where of course you can sign up to enter the Open Series, which is still going on. Of course, they are weekly competitions for everybody, no matter what your skill level is. And you can go to the Competition Center, compete.playstation.com for all of this. Plus, there's a bunch of great articles, tips and tricks, videos, etc. And you sign up there with your PSN ID. And the rest of it is all just through your PlayStation. Easy as can be, easy peasy. And we've still got some tournaments going on, like I said, and they're not just for this, for a lot of different games. So just be sure to go over there. But looks like our players are already set up very quickly for our 4th match of the first round. And like I was saying, these are 2 players that are very much still in the running for the top 8. So this is going to be a huge one. If either of these players now loses, they are guaranteed out of the top 8. Now, Mojo Dojo is not in the top 8 as things stands, is going to need to fight very, very well throughout the entire bracket to make it to the top 8. But Gilbags started today in the top 8 and could lose his spot with a loss. So really, really wants to win right here. A lot is hinged on this specific matchup.
Yeah. So, a little bit more pressure on one person versus the other. But either way, overall, these guys need to, someone's losing their spot. Somebody is, taking the backseat here. for this regional finals. Right now, Gilbag doing some really good work here with Sub-Zero, pushing close to the corner, commits to the whole strange, possibly looking for that crushing blow requirement, trying to get that damage in as early as possible. The Cabal, incredible corner control, able to swing Sub-Zero closer there into the abyss of the corner. Cannot move, cannot do anything here, but does fight his way out.
Round 2.
Yeah, and this is something that we've seen, I would say, a little bit more recently from a lot of Sub-Zeros, but it's something that Gilbags has used a lot, which is just the Rising Ice. And it's a move that, everybody was looking at a lot when the kind of custom variation system first came out. They did nerf it a little bit as it released. You couldn't get that needless corner combo, but overall, it's still a very strong option. It is the only one-bar option that lets you get these guaranteed conversion from stuff like the overhead. And if you use it alongside some other meter options, you get a ton of damage. And I mean, even if you don't, you still get a ton of damage. But here we go. Armor break from Mojo Dojo. And he's going up the life of that. Chose not to spend the crushing blow.
Yeah, just kind of holding on to it, These are resources that you might have to use a little bit later. Love the double overhead here. That slight gas there at the end. Getting a little tricky, although Cabal doesn't really have any lows. A lot of people are looking to swing for their turn after.
Yeah, it's like the weird unblockable, right? It's not a 50-50, but it's like it mentally makes you swing. It mentally makes you stop blocking for whatever reason. And something we see a lot. But, didn't really matter. Gilbags is pretty quickly going to take that first game. But Gilbags is a pretty aggressive Sub-Zero, has been playing Sub-Zero every time that we've seen him in the bracket. So this is, it's a solid pick. It's exactly what we thought we were going to see. And, has also made the top, really 3, I think, several times. At the very least, the last time that we saw Gilbags, he was in the top 3, got 3rd, I believe, exactly. But a very good player, and there's a reason why he is, well, at least was in the top 8 at the start of today.
Yeah. And it unfortunately could change easily, and that's what me and Chef were so excited about how this whole bracket played out, and point system, and just what's at risk here. Who can drop down, who can rise up, and right now it's setting up for a great storyline, a great show for you guys. And it looks like we're gonna be sticking here with the same characters. Creeping Ice from Sub-Zero, try to keep things as safe as possible. Cabal, the incredible mobility here of the coming forward to keeping it safe with Creeping Ice, ducking under the throw, but not cashing in big time. That could have been Whipped City. Big
yeah, and gonna take the corner too, which is a really big deal, just as far as, both of these characters are extremely good at switching sides, right? So that was a great way to get over. Oh, interesting. This is the breakaway. Normally you can punish if you break away right before the back 1-4-3 in that combo, but he was, I think, maybe a little bit late to get the punish. I didn't exactly see what happened, but didn't get the one that he wanted to, but that's definitely a show of matchup knowledge, I would have to say. And so far, regardless, he has gotten a lot of damage so far this round. But here we go. This could melt away. One more hit, and it's Fatal Blow. You know how it goes.
We all do. We all know the end of that story. Getting the anti-air. This is definitely going to be enough damage. No, he hits it down too. Thought it was just like I did, but does connect there with the Polar Axe. Jumping back from that projectile. Securing what could have been a disastrous hit there for Cabal.
Yeah, as soon as the up 3 hit, that was terrifying. That could have been a huge choke, but luckily did manage to pull it back. And that's really big. Again, now he's starting in the corner. Now, ooh, this pressure though, using the extended hook grab. Not something you usually see all that often. Almost really ever.
No, a lot of people like to go for the slight gas and the air hook for a lot of combo potential, but extended hook is going to be the standing resets. Yeah, I don't know.
And also,
I
don't either. That was weird. I was trying to figure it out. It's like the opposite of being disrespectful. Mashing down, you mash up just slightly. But didn't quite matter. Gilbags just really has taken control of the set. Hasn't, I don't think, lost a round yet, or at the very least has made it quick otherwise. But yeah, I like the extended hook. There are certain situations where you can kind of jail into it so they can't duck it, and you get this weird pseudo-free pressure. Sub might be able to slide punish it. I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen that. It's been literally since like the very start of the game, where it was part of the kind of main variation. But even then, we didn't see all that many Cabals past like the first couple of weeks. But here we go. We're gonna see the switch to Johnny Cage, maybe. I see this, yeah, the switch to Johnny Cage against Sub-Zero. And this is going to be maybe a little bit of an advantage in this neutral game. And could be an advantage in the, well, not really the damage game. Cabal's pretty high damage, but let's see what we've got. Pissed Off, Rising Star, and Throwing Shade. So this is going to be the straight projectile variation with the super high damage, if you can land it. Got the Armor Breaker, got the Shades Crushing Blow, everything you need.
Yeah, flash it in, whatever you get the opportunity to great fireballs do get slid under, though. One of the best things about Sub-Zero is mobility to just kind of bypass projectiles, not only just favorably trade with projectiles. So not really something you want to do, in my opinion, when you're going up against Sub-Zero. You gotta kind of find a different approach. Love the offensive approach there, getting under that polar axe, but not committing to the whole string. Could be just shaking the rust off of this character. Maybe hasn't picked it in a while. Didn't anticipate to pick it in terms of, you know, your tournament life being on the line here. The back three. I'm sorry, was that back two? Back three? I don't know. It's one of those buttons there. I want to say back two.
It was
even
back
though it's a kick.
MK or in MK9 was it right? The I think it used to be back three. But, or no, maybe that was
traditionally.
No, maybe it was back. Yeah. I don't know. It's so confusing. It's confusing too much. But regardless, I'm pretty sure it's back two now. But not a move we really see all that often. Obviously, it is kind of a meterless launcher, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of embarrassing that I don't know that I get all my inputs mixed up. It's the issue with them changing the inputs for all the different similar normals every game.
That's true. That is true. They always try to change it up, right? You gotta at least give NetherRealm credit. They always try to change up the game as much as possible. Always trying to think outside the box. And I hope Interactive will stay here forever. I'm just gonna say it right now. Interactive. Back three, and decides to, not go for the whole string. And that led to him, getting opened up there. Johnny Cage is poking down with that down four. That down four has so much range, and it's so plus on hit. Johnny Cage literally gets to dash up and do whatever he wants afterwards. But here comes the big buttons. I think he's dead thanks to fatal blow. No, didn't even. Yeah. So, I feel like he didn't even have to risk it there with the rising ice. But that just shows you how confident Gil Bags is going into this top 8. I don't want to be on the other side of Sub-Zero. That was pure, crispy, perfect Sub-Zero gameplay. Barely dropped anything. Understood matchups to a T. And, even when he was put in new situations, knew exactly what to do. So Gil Bags, like you highlighted before, able to come out of a situation where he could have lost that sub-regional spot easily if he lost in that game, that set right there.
I mean, that was it. And no. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on, where it's literally just like one game, and if you lose it, you would lose your spot guaranteed. If you win it, you still aren't guaranteed your spot. So the pressure is like way more in like the negative side, as opposed to like, if I win, it's great. If I lose, it's terrible. It's like, if I lose, it's terrible. If I win, it could still be terrible down the line, which is a really tough thing to fight through. But I mean, I know Gil Bags has been playing in tournaments for a long, long time, at least since MKX at the minimum that I'm aware of. So definitely has that level of experience, but that does mean that, again, he does manage to hold on to his spot, which is going to be huge. So the only person, unfortunately, now that we see out is the Mojo Dojo, who's not going to be able to quite qualify, will be ending at around the 10th or 11th spot. And that's unfortunate, but a great showing the entire season. And we now have set up for our next set of matches. But before we go to our break, we want to, of course, mention that you can support your own region and support the pro competition with some very dope merch, which, of course, you can go to at, you see the link on screen, Amazon.com/Mortal Kombat. But lots of different characters, lots of different styles. You can get whatever you want. I don't have a Molina joke set up this time, unfortunately, Arma. I failed you. I was trying to think of one in time, and I just didn't. But it's okay.
Okay.
It's the way that it goes. Sorry, I'll think of one better for the next time. But again, like I said, that does set up our next set of matches. But we are going to be setting up those lobbies and giving the players a very tiny break while we take a break ourselves. So don't go anywhere because we are really getting into the nitty gritty of who will be qualifying for regional finals when we get back.
No jokes, no gimmicks, just combat.
PlayStation.
Hey guys, Ketchup and Mustard here, and it's time to test your might in the Mortal Kombat 11 Open Series. Ready to rumble? Power on your PlayStation and head to the Events app, filter by type, and select a convenient date and time. Boot up MK11 and locate the PS4 Tournament menu option. Click it to visit a familiar place, the Console Events tab. Sign up and prepare to play. Once registered, you can view your tournament details and check-in time. A notification will remind you to tighten your black belt and get over here for your match. Continue combat in the open qualifiers to close in on the competition. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the tournaments.
PlayStation. Who are you?
I'm your worst nightmare.
Any ring I step into is mine. End of the line.
Then this fight is now personal.
It is exhausting being so perfect.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to solidify who's going to be going into the sub-regional finals for Oceania. My name is Darth Arma. I am joined by Wonder Chef, this way, not that way, who, we've been just having an exciting time breaking down, crunching numbers, and figuring out who's going to qualify, who is not. So far in this top 8, if you guys are just joining us, we are down 2 players. That's going to be Solar Plexus taking it over Rav, and Gilbags taking it over Mojo Dojo. And now, officially, the first spot that is not being able to be achieved for getting to the sub-regional finals. Yeah, I love how I just kind of smoothly transitioned into that. The Mojo Dojo, unfortunately, is not going to be getting to that sub-regional finals for the $5,000 prize pool. But it's still up in the air for a lot of the competitors up here. We've got great storylines built out, like how there's an immense amount of pressure on Subby to win the whole tournament. But before we break down even more into this bracket, Chef, let's talk about PlayStation 4.
Oh, yeah. And of course, the PS4 tournaments, with Mortal Kombat 11 Pro Competition, sorry, stumbled on that, is presented, of course, by PS4 Tournaments. And you can check out that and the Open Series both in the same place, which is going to be compete.playstation.com, where you can sign up for tournaments no matter what skill level you are. You can also see some nice videos to learn about like what the pros are saying about the game, their mindsets. There's some great interviews on there, but all of it, compete.playstation.com. You sign up with your PSN ID, and then you play all the tournaments directly from your PS4. As easy as can be. Everybody's very spoiled now, but I'm just very jealous. But yep, compete.playstation.com. I'll say it for a third time. It's the place to go for everything. For every single thing that you want for competitive Mortal Kombat. That should be your first go-to. But like you were saying, we're really getting down into it. That's what these players did. They went to compete.playstation.com. They signed up for probably 8 weeks a piece, and they have fought as hard as they could to make it into this top 8. And now pretty much every match, I think, is going to be pretty close to a decider of what could be like a guaranteed spot for the qualification. I know that our first match of the, not the first match, but our winners finals match will be giving both players an opportunity to at least move on, but they still have a chance because they'll move on to losers. But we are starting with the losers bracket, which is why I'm saying it's not the first match, where, again, Yeet is just a wild card. We saw Yeet pull out the Collector last time, hovering over Sub-Zero. We'll see what the pick is. Very cool costume. But Solar Plexus on the other side. Again, Solar Plexus is currently still tied for 7th place. So just barely holding on to his spot. If he goes out here, there are a lot of opportunities for other players to overtake that spot that he's got in the qualification process. And that is always a terrible feeling when you know that you can qualify, but it depends on other players and how they play. So, oh, look at this. We are going to see the bag bomb. We actually saw the bag bomb being put in place. That's hilarious. The exact example that I had. But on the other side, interesting note, we're talking about it. First time that we're seeing Cetrion here on the NetherRealm stream since the nerf to Cetrion, lowering the chip damage on Tornado and lowering the amount of health that she has. She's now a 950 health character. So 2 pretty significant nerfs, I would say, for the character. However, still going to have all the tools, still going to have the actual utility that she's had, and you can see exactly how strong that is. This is still a very good round to start off with for Solar Plexus. However, there's always an opportunity. We've seen Heat do it before. Woo! The reflect!
Unfortunately, that reflect did not really allude to much, didn't lead into anything, but always something you gotta be kind of mindful of. Look at this great mobility that this character has. Being able to teleport right behind you. I mean, both these characters do have that teleport, so not to say that, there aren't options here. Here comes the big leg, the big boot from Collector. Gets the stagger pressure to correctly hit, open up Cetrion, and goes for a reset here instead of going for the regular launch there. And he gets it the second time, but this time staggers it even more layers later, going into the command grab. lot of damage down on Solar Plexus. Can he make this comeback here? Looks like Heat is looking not to take too many risks, and as soon as I say that, teleports right next there into a full combo punish.
Yeah, this is this is such an interesting style. We saw it in the previous set from Heat too. All right, this might be a conversion attainable. No, gonna hold on to it for maybe one more hit. The grab now is going to put a little bit of space in between them, and now just needs to chip. More hit. All right, not gonna be as much. Okay, yeah, you know what? Didn't even go for any tornado. I'm assuming tornado is still in its variation, right? But we almost never saw it, right? Oh, that was me. That was unnecessary.
Unnecessary roughness here. Throw cards, throw the flags. I mean, this is unsportsmanlike. Solar Plexus 100% healing themselves to just pop that fatal blow at the end, right after the finishing screen. You love to see it. You love to see it. I'm sorry. I'm all for disrespecting signs and just don't getting into your opponent's mindset. Yeah, 100% a statement. Agreed. It is a statement here. As you can see, Cetrion, even though she's gotten a few little nerfs here, a little bit of a damage reduction, she still has probably the best backdash in the game, best projectiles in the game, the best teleport in the game. And, you know, before I get more Cetrion players to hate me, like, she just got amazing tools, man. Like, so good and always, like, in control. And it's just a very tough character to, like, hold still. Yeah, she doesn't have great traditional wake-ups, like, you know, her up 3 and up 2 aren't great. But, you know, being able to backdash out of a lot of pressure makes you kind of second-guess, you know, trying to apply pressure, which, you know, leaves you more susceptible to things like wake-up buttons or wake-up throw. So, you know, she can move. That's really what I love about this character. She can move.
Oh, cashing out immediately with the 2-3 crushing blow. That's something you tend to see saved for a little bit later when you really need that comeback potential, but immediately forced the breakaway. That's another issue with cashing out with it so quickly. However, I mean, that's a huge life lead, and it doesn't look like Solar Plexus is all that worried about having to hold on to everything. It's been a really interesting playstyle that we've seen from him, where he goes for a lot of like ground pounds in the point blank game, which is not something that we're really used to seeing. And I wonder if this is kind of just like a Solar Plexus style, or if it's something to do with the fact that they did nerf the chip damage on the tornado, making it maybe a little bit less fun of an option, but obviously still effective. Regardless, doesn't matter. Another round. That's 3 rounds straight. This is all looking very, very good. I'm curious if we are, you know, if this is another win this round, which immediately starts strong. I'm curious if we would see Yeet go to a different character. We saw Yeet hovering over the Liu Kang earlier. That's a character who can definitely stand a chance against Cetrion. But right now, I mean, it's just kind of like the clunkiness of Collector. Doesn't really have the best mobility. Doesn't have the best, like, whip punishing tools unless you're already within this range. They're not forward advancing exactly. So we're seeing a little bit of the difficulties of how this match could go out. But as I say that, it's doing quite well.
Yeah, commentator's curse there. Threw out the bag by mistake. Now, Chef, I'm gonna dive in deep here. Do you think he didn't have the bag equipped because he kept constantly getting that input error?
That would be funny.
Curse him?
I may have cursed him. You see, that's the #1 rule. Never listen to me. That's the first mistake, is listening to something that I say. But hey, you know what? Regardless, it's working out. And I mean, I do like the bag. Honestly, the bag bomb. It's a good projectile. It does quite a bit of damage. You can arc it. It will be able to challenge some of the zoning. And just being able to challenge zoning in the Cetrion matchup, even if you're overall losing it, just having that threat can give you the opportunity to try and make it in, or just a little bit more time in your approach, which can be good, but we're not really seeing a lot of challenges from the bag bomb. So at this point, maybe it should have just not been chosen, if the only time that we've seen it is an input error.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me, and it's happening a lot after the teleport. You know, because I know if you're holding a certain direction and switch sides, you know, the game thinks that you press something. But right now, looking great, getting confirmed into the Bola. Got to be launching up for lots of damage, but drops the Ender there. But fortunately enough, is still in a safe spot where he can block against Cetrion's offense. Cetrion not anticipating the stagger, but good spacing there. Unfortunately, already used that crushing blow at the beginning of this game, so no longer accessible to it here. Hits him as an anti-air. Here comes the big down to Keshin, and big time, but he drops it. Huge missed opportunity here for Yeet, but he does find the follow-up. The momentum still on his side, and easily hit confirmed into this fatal blow for so much damage here. Solar Plexus, there's so much pressure on the line here for Yeet. There's no pressure for Yeet, and Yeet with a statement of their own, going in with the fatality after the first game. Why not?
Yeah, and you know, well, I mean, you gotta, right? I mean, it was the delayed fatal blow as a finisher in the first round or in the first game, so you got to do something back. Yeah. And you don't want a friendship because that's the ultimate one, right? So you gotta go for something disrespectful here. The fatality is a little bit more disrespectful than friendships, I'd say. Friendships a little bit more like, hey, I won the set, buddy. Like they're actually becoming friendships, which is weird. But overall, I do think that maybe we saw Solar Plexus get a little bit too comfortable after that first win. You know, spending out that 2-on-3 crushing blow early on while Yeet had defensive bar was a big risk to take, I would say. You know, you're not really getting as much out of it as you possibly could if you save it for later. Could have still just got like a normal conversion instead and essentially the same amount of damage. But I think that Solar Plexus was like, okay, I dominated this person like game one. Like this is no problem at all. But Yeet, we've seen once he gets that offense, once the resets start, it's actually really tough to get out of them. I mean, it's definitely the main play style that Yeet's got. So I think going into this next game, we're going to see Solar Plexus just be a little bit more cautious, hold on to everything, a little bit more serious, not just saying, okay, it's another game in my path. It's like, okay, I really do got to play this.
Yeah, well, he is challenging those ground pounds a lot, and I feel like that got him a lot of damage in that last game. And I think I already see Solar Plexus kind of countering to that, canceling out of the ground pound instead of going for the second hit, you know, backing off and trying to intercept Yeet, who's jumping in afterward. So I'm seeing a lot of counterplay here. Standing position here, going right into the tornado, still a really good move, especially on hit. The restand still a very real thing. Not enough damage to seal the deal, but that's okay. Solar Plexus has a huge life lead. Just like that, rising wall is a little anti-air, amplifying it for just enough damage, and Solar Plexus back into the groove, back into feeling themselves here in this matchup. Yeah, we've seen it already. He is just one jump in away, and as you can see, like Solar Plexus is anticipating more jumps. That's why he did that, you know, air boulder here. So the decision making between, you know, this game and last game, a lot of smart stuff coming out of Solar Plexus.
Yeah, and you can see again, you know, it's like a really respect thing, right? Like originally in the first game, Solar Plexus was like, yeah, I'm just botting this person, just using my normal stuff, like I don't have to worry about it. But in the second game, Yeet was like, okay, I'm gonna start jumping over the second ground pounds. I'm gonna be able to get past the zoning better. And then so now this game, Solar Plexus has very often gone for the option that is kind of like the safer one that allows like the anti-air for the jumps. And this should be guaranteed, no chance to break away. But overall, yeah, you can see kind of the overall style change, and it has really changed the game. Again, shifted the favor overall, but whoa, we're gonna see a fatality. I wonder if either these two know each other and they're intentionally being disrespectful for fun, or if there's just some sort of storyline. I would love to know why we're seeing so many fatalities, but there's a lot of anger in this set, maybe, or maybe just a lot of trolling. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is definitely hard to tell without a little bit of context, but I see a lot of hate being thrown. Also, that fatality always reminds me of turkey legs. Like, it's like crawling away after they've been singed off. Very, 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 very scary. Very, very scary stuff. Yeah, Solar Plexus. I definitely see the difference in attitude, like you're saying about, you know, applying, you know, game plan A. Can they deal with this? No, I win. I feel like now he's kind of stepped into something different, something beyond. Okay, all right, let's not go with plan A. Let's try to counteract his play style. Now we're highlighting Jade. This is going to be an interesting pick because Jade can basically nullify projectiles coming out of Cetron. Now, of course, she can counteract that play by going with the Mind Grab, instead of a regular projectile, she thinks that Jade is gonna throw up the purple stuff or go purple. She go Vine Grab for a full combo punish if she's close enough. But that is a very, very risky thing to do. Super duper unsafe. And Jade does have that Nitro kick. Let's see what Jade is rocking here in this custom variation. A little close up. Delia's Dan. That's the only one I read.
I saw the spark, and yeah, that was it as far as I was able to see. But kind of quickly, the air razor ring. Thank you for showing us Yeet as soon as we needed to know. So that's yeah, there we go. So the air razor ring is a really cool pick in this matchup. It's one that we've seen a decent amount because that's actually an angle that, while Cetrion does have, of course, the anti-air boulder, which can punish it really heavily, it does go over. Oh, speak of the devil, everything we're saying is just happening. But, oh, and there we go, 2 in a row, gets the crushing blow, decided not to cash out on the first time, and this time, though, maybe wanted that little bit of extra damage, but, yeah, so it is going to be a guess now, you know, so, hey, you know, you see the high boulder, maybe you can shadow kick in and get a punish, or you can just dash in and get a punish with back 2 or something like that, and now it's like a guessing game, you know, you have to add different layers, otherwise Cetrion's just going to play her game normally. Unfortunately, right off the bat, as Yeet was trying to set up those extra layers, Solarplex is like, I already know exactly what you're doing. And, ooh, doesn't get the full punish. Could have got a little bit more on that, or a lot more, but that's going to be a good punish. There is defensive bar, breaks the breakaway immediately. Armor breaks it. So a huge life lead. This is, again, match point for Solar Plexus, who's still trying to hold on to this barely top 8 spot. This would be a huge win. And it's not looking good right now, though. I mean, this is some really good pressure. A lot of Delia's dances hitting all in a row. He's going to be able to create a little bit of space. And now the glow's up, so gotta play a lot more up close and personal.
Got to play a little bit more risky too if you want to go for that Vine Grab. There goes the air boulder, but again, we already used that crushing blow. Could have been better spent here in this round because it is so much closer. Could have been the defining, you know, swing for momentum in Cetrion's favor. Blocks the first one, but doesn't block the amplified portion of it. Tries to hit the Vine, but Jade ready to block, ready to reversal punish here. Oh god, this is down to the wire. Can he make this happen? He's trying to backdash, trying to make some space, but here comes a big jump and kick. And he is still in the running here. Solar Plexus, you gotta dig in here. Jade is dealing with her projectiles. Being able to nullify those projectiles is a key game changer. Again, we're finding Solar Plexus looking in for a third new strategy on how to counteract the matchup at hand here. And I guess that counts as a projectile, Chef.
Yeah, we learn new things every day. I actually didn't know whether or not that kind of projectile. I guess the only thing that doesn't is technically the vines, which we could see at some point in this matchup. We usually do see it when there's a trade. Oh, and that's going to be a great trade for Cetrion. Getting the full screen like knock away too, which is going to be huge. But besides the teleport in, that's going to be a full conversion. Just goes to the down 2. I mean, that is going to be a lot of damage and prevent any sort of breakaway options, but that's going to be it. The Jade ending up a very good choice. And honestly, I mean, okay, are we going to see a fatality? What's going to be? Yeah, that's got to be fatal, right?
I love it. I love to see it. Oh, the eyeball.
She needed that eye.
MK11 loves eyeballs.
It's true. There are like a lot more eyeball fatalities. Oh, that's gross. Got all over our camera. You know how expensive this production equipment is? Come on. Come on, Jade.
Jade, you gotta come down and wipe that off. That is disgusting. Yeah, the eyeball reminds me of like the old like Neversoft logo from like the old
oh yeah
rock games where the eyeball gets pierced. Yes,
this is creepy. It was really creepy, you know.
It was. It was, even when in its like crappy like 64 graphics, like it was still pretty creepy.
Yeah, I seem to recall like thinking like this is weird. This is like from like a horror thing back then. But anyway, speaking of horror, this is a definitely horror situation for Solar Plexus. That pick looked like it was working quite well, and honestly, it could have gone pretty well for Solar Plexus. I think it could have been the win had he kept with the adaptation that he'd made in the previous game, where he did a block string at the very end into the ground pound, then canceled it, but then rather than waiting for the jump over it like before, went for more pressure, and then the jump did end up actually working So we'll see if there is yet another layer of adaptation, but this could be the end of the road for Solar Plexus. And again, Solar Plexus is currently in the top 8, still holds this spot. So there is a chance that even if Solar Plexus loses here, that he can still stay in there. He can still stay in that top 8, still qualify for the regional finals, but it's definitely not... it's not a good chance, I would say. It would require several other people losing all of their games in a row.
And not only that, but you're no longer going to be in control of your own destiny. So you're going to have to depend on certain people losing and certain people winning in this top 8, and that is just a very stressful thing. You don't want to deal with any of that. Jade jumping kicks are doing so much, but here we go. Cetrion getting a little bit more on her side here as she connects here with that crushing blow, one of the only avenues for lots of damage. Love the punish there. Of course, not going to get too much damage off of that as you just use that pressure. Not going to get the pop up there at the end. But I just need like one more thing. Hits the down.
Oh no!
Was that down 1, down 3 guaranteed? Now, of course, that doesn't combo in this game. Down pokes do not combo into special. But it kind of just looked like she was too far to get a good enough punish that, she just wanted the advantage from the down 1.
Yeah, I think that actually might have been like a back 3 that just ended up too far from the first hit to hit. It was just a weird situation. But overall, regardless, it doesn't matter, I guess, because Solplex is now on match points. That's definitely where he wants to be, but he was here before, and it looks like, just like the Collector, if he gets in one time, he has a great mind for pressure, and so you really do not want to let that all get started. Oh no, went for the wall. It looks like maybe Solar Plexus doesn't have a lot of experience or maybe just comfortability playing against Jade, especially once Jade gets that glow up. There are a lot of more experienced Cetrions in the matchup, I would say, that have very specific plans once that's happened. But as you can see, again, going for natural barrier, it's not going to work once the glow's up. There are some options, though. Oh, anti-airs with a fatal blow, just barely. That was a gigantic risk, but this is going to pay off quite a bit. However, this is going to put fatal blow territory for Yeet, and if Yeet lands that fatal blow, then that's a guaranteed round win, and that's going to mean a big wasted fatal blow for Solar Plexus. Just needs to find one opportunity. Be careful, it's fast, it's overhead. Oh, but now it's chip territory. Not going to be easy to chip with the glow. Oh, blocks it and gets the punish. Yeah, I mean, I think we all had to know that at some point that was going to be the option, but it didn't quite work out, and so we see the classic to end it, as Solar Plexus now is getting closer to confirming that he will stay for sure in the top 8, and that's going to send Yeet out of the tournament, the mystery player who we may never know who they actually are. Maybe it's just a player that we've never seen, but regardless, they had a really interesting showing today with that Collector and the Jade, and showed us some neat stuff. But maybe we'll see you in a future tournament. But that does mean that Solar Plexus is moving forward. I'm going to update him, only to a minimum of 4th place.
Yes, and that's going to be, but the difference between these guys every single match, that gap for points, how many more points you get between, 4th and 3rd versus 3rd and 2nd and 2nd and 1st, it just gets bigger and bigger. But before we break it down even more for you guys, we're going to give a big shout out to Astro Gaming. These are the headsets you see on our heads right here. Big shout outs to Astro Gaming for being the official audio partner of the Mortal Kombat 11 Pro Competition. All the caster audio is powered by Astro for the entirety of the season. If you guys want to check out more, head on over to astrogaming.com to find out more information on all of their officially licensed PlayStation audio products, which are available now. Guys, go check it out. Upgrade your setup, whether it's just for personal use, for streaming, or just for hanging out with your friends. You definitely can't go wrong with an Astro. Really high quality stuff here. Super comfortable and super easy to use on whatever setup you got going. Treat yourselves. It's going to be great. As we treat ourselves into hopefully a little bit more of a bracket breakdown, can we see what we got looking forward here? So like we said, Solar Plexus making it over Yeet, guaranteeing themselves 4th place or better. Chef, we are updating those points, right?
Yeah.
And,
So it is a guaranteed 4th place or better. But okay, I have to interject here because this next match that we're going to see, Temp versus Gilbags, this is maybe the most important match of this bracket, right? Where Temp needs to win this to still stand a chance of qualifying, which is huge. Gilbags needs to win this to still stand a chance of qualifying, and which is a tough situation. Subby has to see Gilbags lose here. If Gilbags wins, then Subby can no longer qualify. Like I said, she's the lowest of the players here that still can qualify. She can qualify if she gets first, but only if either Solar Plexus or Gilbags lost, right, before they got to 4th place. So this is really a decider between 3 different people, at least, altogether. I mean, there's a lot of different ways this can play out still, but I mean, it's big. It is really big. And we're seeing the return to the Devora. So we're just going to keep on going today with the weird picks, the weird characters. But the Devora is a character that we've seen a lot of times before from Temp. And Gilbags will be using, of course, his classic Sub-Zero. But, okay, immediately going for a little bit of an unsafe pressure option. And didn't get punished all that hard, which is a very good deal because Sub-Zero can pretty much end you off with one hit.
Oh yeah, definitely a different take versus a lot of other different characters. You see a little bit different of gameplay here from Devora. Instead of getting a lot of damage, she's going to get a lot of setup potential with that Oki bug. As long as she gets that hit, she's able to drop that bug, amplify it, and you basically can't do anything for quite some time as those bugs just kind of annoy you on the pickup. It's basing there with that down poke at the end of Sub-Zero's back 3, trying to make that little gap, or trying to fill that gap there with a damaging string. Down 4 is coming out of Gilbags, just a regular poke to try to get some hit advantage. Neutral jumping is one of the best things Devora has.
Oh! They both fatal blow, right? They both fatal blow because it's an armor broken. Wow, what a read from both of them at the exact same time. But Devora's fatal blow is pretty fast, and Sub-Zero's actually not all that fast as he has to do the whole, he reaches back and then stabs forward, which is not how you're supposed to use axes, I don't think. But, wow, what a read. You almost never see the armor broken from a fatal blow, especially not with another fatal blow. So, I mean, that's got to be a great feeling for Temp to start off this.
I mean, Devora's got a quick fatal blow, and that's really what it came down to. It almost happened at the exact same time, like the flash. I might even say that Devora's fatal blow happened afterwards, but because it's so fast, it was able to connect right away. We're just going to go for a back throw here from Devora, just tossing up, trying to make that jump in here happen, but Sub-Zero low profiling his hurt box, and right now going for a world of hurt.
Oh,
much damage here.
Yeah, one more hit away. Oh, nice! The short hop to avoid the poke, yeah. That down 4 would have for sure been canceled into the stabs like we saw right there, and it would have basically guaranteed, especially with meter, that was going to be chip death. But that was actually a really good read with the short hop on Wake Up to avoid that and prevent it from being canceled. But unfortunately, it was just a little bit too late for such a good read. And so, first game going to Temp. And again, almost more than Temp here is concerned with, well, actually almost exactly as much. Temp is yes, one good game, but also Subby's got to be yes, one good game, just hoping that, it's obviously terrible to root for somebody to lose, but when your life is on the line and it's out of your control, I've seen people before that are just sitting in chat and they're just let's go, let's go, please win, please give me a chance to qualify. And so 2 people right now got to be pretty happy about that.
It definitely, again, you get into that situation where sometimes, for whatever reason, you're not as consistent throughout the whole season, and it's just not in your power, not in your control here. And that's definitely what Subby's feeling, watching closely here as this match unfolds here. Temp getting that throw, connecting. Throws kind of act as true mids in this game. So, get somebody recovering on something, a throw is a really, really good option. And that's why throws feel so overwhelming in this game. Connecting the mids, hit confirming for some good damage, getting that capture there at the end. didn't anticipate the breakaway. A lot of Devoras like to throw down the Oki bug when they know that breakaway is coming. So I think Gilbag's doing a good job of mixing up when to and when not to break away, trying to keep Temp guessing over and over again. They amplify to keep it safe. It looks like Gilbag is trying to swing as soon as possible, a little too early.
Full cash out, but ooh, the roll out of the corner. This is an opportunity. I mean, we saw how much the Fatal Blow came into play in the last game. Oh, could have got the down forward to Anti-Air. Still alive, but that's going to be chipped. Yeah, Temp didn't have any defensive bar, so that meant there was really no opportunity to live there. Had to guess right on like a delayed wake-up situation that Gilbags wasn't going to cover both options for. But really close to being able to take that. I think tried for the Anti-Air, which would have been it completely. But still, though, has the corner, and this is, of course, one of... Actually, I'm going to say the scariest corner in the entire game. The one with this Lion interactable, which is just one of the best interactables in the game. Getting that restand, getting that advantage, giving you tick throws in the corner, some of the best combo enders, everything about it. Extremely terrifying. Oh, but the bug coming in clutch. Unfortunately, not going to be able to start a full combo with it. Just going to be able to create a little bit of space.
It kind of looked like it was exactly where he got hit. It was like that sweet spot to not really, fall into a combo with Kate. Tries to swing afterwards, trying to get as much damage as possible, but Devora just kind of slipping through his fingers. Throwing back the polar axes here. Trying to just swing with anything, anticipating Devora to jump over and over again here. Gilbags does find the hit, but doesn't hit confirm into anything. Temp down to nothing and decides to dive in deep. Desperately going for that fatal blow because why not? If it hits, I am still in this. If not, I'm definitely going to die. But hold on, Gilbags damage left there on the HP, but just like that, Temp connecting that throw. Gilbag's a little too tense in that situation, holding on to block and not reacting with a Protect or even a Throw Tech attempt.
Well, Devora actually has quite good throw range, so that, I mean, the jump one into the grab looked like it wasn't even going to connect, but, I mean, that was great, knowledge of the character by Temp to go for that, where I think a lot of people just wouldn't have been ready at all to even consider the situation was possible until they saw a little bit more forward movement from Devora, but, yeah, that's clutch, and now we've seen really basically 2 rounds taken with this Fatal Blow. Usually we expect a lot more from Sub-Zero, the master of converting into Fatal Blow. However, I mean, after this win, this is going to be a tough situation. That is a back throw, so this is going to be the corner. Just has to keep Gilbags in this corner forever, for the rest of this round. But a down one check. We're going to say, no, that, oh, missed hit confirmed. This is huge. This is huge.
Break away, that's the question. Yes, breaks away, but he does correctly read it. Here come the Oki bugs to his rescue. If he had Fatal Blow, that would have been enough to kill, but still needs one more hit, one more conversion. Hitting the air-to-air, just jumping, going with the fastest normal. And Gilbags barely makes it through there, down to the wire. One combo would have been the deciding factor there at the end, but Gilbags clutching it out.
Yeah, that was a scary situation. That would have been really, really easy to fall. But I mean, great usage of that bug to set up that combo situation. Unfortunately, it just came down to resources, I think, at the end. If there was a Fatal Blow, that could have been it. If there was some more offensive bar, that could have been it. If there was defensive bar at the very, very end, then there could have been a breakaway maybe to survive, or at least to be in a situation where Chip couldn't have been as easy of an answer. But overall, it just came down to the fact that Temp had none of those things. And so, Gilbags, after, I'd say losing the first game pretty considerably, has really fought his way back into this. And, nobody expects Gilbags to really be completely out in any of these matches. So I'm glad that this one is going to be seemingly close.
Round 1, fight.
It definitely seems like it. And again, you definitely don't want to see washes when so much is on the line, not just for these players involved, but also players outside of this match, but still in this top 8 running. It's the Rising Ice conversion here. Devora breaking away there at the very end of the combo. I think a little too aggressive here. Probably could have held on to the meter for some breakup options, but you know what? Gilbags totally okay with that. Tries to go for the throw, and Temp looking for that neutral duck option, and pays off considerably here. Getting the back throw, throwing Sub-Zero a little closer to the corner. No access to interactables in this one. Trying to lock him down as nice and tightly as possible. But unfortunately goes for the side switch there. I don't know if that was intentional, but I don't think that was a good idea. Either way, getting that capture there at the end. Super risky, might I add. Super risky.
Yeah, but a great side switch combo at the very end. That's a little bit weird to get the conversion of. You have to land that jump kick super deep, and wanted to make sure that he was getting maximum damage on it, so that was great stuff. But great stuff now from Gilbags, who's going to be able to catch up for a lot of damage in the corner. We're not going to see the breakaway. Temp just holding on to that defensive bar, but that is a lot of damage to give up. Now there's always going to be the opportunity that Sub-Zero manages to kill you without you ever getting a chance to spend that defensive bar. Here we go, back throw again. It's an option that we've seen Temp go to a lot to try to gain that corner back. Oh, but here we go. Oh, what's going to happen? Is there a combo of this? No, they don't actually fully combo. In fact, they only shut up 2 bugs. That was pretty weird.
Yeah. I think the first bug wasn't close enough. I think it disappeared before, you know, before the animation even started going. But I love how Gilbags was ready to swing, because that's 100% a gimmick, right? Like throwing out any kind of normal that you intend your opponent to block, and then throwing down the Oki bug is not going to work as long as that opponent is ready to swing, you know, as soon as possible. And that's what we saw Gilbag doing. Blocking the slide, getting a nice punish here. Going to pop up for some extra damage. Here comes the breakaway. But this time, no Oki bug for the anticipation. Maybe thought he was going to hold breakaway until a little bit later. Back throw, like you said, Chef. An option that Temp is digging into a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's working. It's working a lot. In fact, throws in general have been working quite a bit. So maybe that's something that Temp wants to go back to a little bit more. Ooh, jumps over the forward 2. A little bit of a weird weakness for that move is that it can sometimes not hit in the air almost at all. And this fatal blow still is here. That's very scary. Oh no, drops the conversion. Tried to go to the fatal blow. You can see him actually stance switch, which is a heartbreaker. No punish on the teleport. Wow. That was a really unfortunate round for Gilbags. That's gotta feel rough. I mean, that was 2. That was 2 wins in a row dropped, and oh, that's gross. That's gross, Bug. You're eating what you were born out of. That is just rude. Just rude. I don't even know what it's doing anymore. That's gross. Whatever it's doing to the head is pretty gross.
It's making a statement, okay? Making a very definitive statement here. Yeah, you gotta wonder how much the pressure is getting to Gilbags right now. I mean, there at the end, I feel like that's something that you practice punishing day in, day out, and he had Fatal Blow. I'm not sure if it was gonna be enough to kill, but it was definitely gonna put him into like a chip out situation, which, you know, you definitely. You can play it however you want to play it. You know, whether you're going to think that Devora is going to go in for that crazy teleport, or if she's going to play it a little bit more passively. You can throw out projectiles, or maybe a crazy slide from your end. But he dropped the punish. He dropped the punish clear as day. Ice Ball was blocked, and Temp was ready to capitalize off of that mistake. That was 100% Gilbags' game to win. And he dropped the opportunity. Huge missed opportunity here. And a lot is on the line here, so you gotta wonder, are the nerves like knocking on the door of Gilbag, of his defense, of his stature, his ability, his stability to keep going through this gauntlet? This is insane, man. Like, people really underestimate like, what goes on through people's minds right now. Gets the air-to-air. Seen some weird swinging afterwards. There's no way that string is safe, but is able to hit confirm. That Samsung not the easiest thing to hit confirm, but Gilbags ready to just leave the past in the past. Jumping back, anticipating to block the teleport. Give it another shot to go for a punish this time. He's like, this time I'm ready.
Yeah, you got to be ready for that at this point, right? And like I said, Gilbags has a lot of experience as a tournament player. Ooh, that's going to be a punish, but okay. Oh, gets the teleport from it! That's got to be Fatal Blow. That's got to be Fatal Blow. Oh no, the drop! Oh no! Oh, that's such a weird one. It looked like it was in range, and it's got a pretty good hitbox, but now that is going to be death. could have gone for the breakaway, but that would probably guarantee chip anyway. And so now, that's now both players dropping guaranteed wins at this point. And yeah, the pressure has to be on. I mean, both of these players, whoever loses, is guaranteed to not make it to that spot in, well, yeah, actually, maybe there's a chance for Gilbags, but I think there's most likely not a chance for Gilbags. But regardless, they really need to win this. They really, really need to win this. And yeah, the pressure's on.
The pressure is super on. You want to be in control of your own destiny. And again, I feel like we got kind of like the other side of it, where Temp had the opportunity. I don't even think Temp needed to do a jump-in kick. I think it could have just went right into Fatal Blow, and it would have been enough damage. But you know, when you leave these things up to chance, up to execution, that's when things can fall through the cracks. Getting confirmed into the ice ball, rising ice for lots of damage. Very technical combo here, not the easiest thing to do in the world. Down one, staggers for days, creeping ice to keep it nice and safe. And Temp just getting read like a book, man. Read like a book here as Gilbags backs up, waiting in full anticipation. Here comes the teleport. Here comes the teleport. I know someone's jumping out of their seat right now. I know someone's not feeling this right now. Gilbags looking to make this comeback in this set.
Oh, that's so rough. I mean, now they've both experienced it, right? They've both lost games because of their mistakes. So ideally, you got to think of it that way. But, you know, the person who made the most recent mistake is always going to feel a little bit worse than the person who's like, oh, look, okay, I made my mistake, but I made it all the way back. Now, a huge question here, is Temp going to stick with the Deborah, or are we going to see another switch? Temp does have 1.5 million characters, and it looks like it might be the Jackie. I personally think the Deborah has been working extremely well, so I almost would have liked to see the stick with the Deborah, because, you know, that could have been the game, actually. That last one, minus that drop. However, sometimes you just want to shake off that feeling of like, okay, I messed up, that feels bad, but I'm just not going to think about it. I'm just going to go to a different character, you know? And this is going to be, of course, the locking in, as this is going to be the final game. If this is, so yeah, guaranteed, if this is a loss for Temp, Temp no longer has a chance to qualify, nor does Subby have a chance to qualify for the top 8 regional finals. But if Gilbags loses here, basically he needs a lot of other people to lose all in a row, otherwise he essentially is guaranteed to not be able to make it. And I think there still might be a chance they just can't. But right now, Temp starting up strong. He did a pretty quick breakaway, but another opening. Now there's no defensive bar in the corner. Oh, a big drop. That could have been maybe the kill. No, not the kill. I was looking at the wrong health. But this will be the kill for sure, as Temp is now going to be on max points.
Aw, damn.
I love the just trying to keep the combo as simple as possible. Side switch in line here, try to push it farther back. Big jumping punch, the big reach from Jackie. She just kind of extends that arm as far as possible. Gilbags trying to get some kind of frame advantage with those down 4 pokes, but Temp staying really, really patient, jumping in right at the perfect time, backing off, and look at the spacing, look at the footsies here from this player. Jackie going in with those incredible mids. Here comes the
That's it! For sure, yeah, there was no way, there's easily going to be a punish, easily going to be unbreakable, and wow, that switch to Jackie made it look like it should have been Jackie the entire time. That was super one-sided, but I mean, that was a very important round. Like I said, maybe the most important game of the entire bracket in a way. And so that is going to mean that now Gilbags is out, guaranteed to get 710 points overall. But 710 points as it stands is the 8th place. It is the final place. And like looking forward, so let's see, Temp now guaranteed at least 4th. So one of these players that's in the top 4 has a very good chance to be able to push him out. And that's a really scary spot. But that means also that Subby, who is probably, I'd assume, going to be our next match, or maybe going to be in the next 2 matches, actually, if we go to lose fourths next, is now still has a chance to make it, still needs to win this entire tournament, but is sitting in the winners bracket, winners final. So that is a very, very high possibility. So now, yeah, anything could happen still as we stand. I need to like reorganize my my spreadsheet a little bit just to see kind of where everybody else is standing. But we know at least for sure who can still make it and who can definitely not make it. But we are actually going to be moving to the subby match next, which means that's a huge match, right? That is a gigantic one. But before we go do that, of course, a shout out to Astro, who provides all of the audio for the Mortal Kombat Pro competition. It's been a pleasure being able to use this equipment for the duration of this season. So a huge thank you to them, the official audio partner, of course. And you can go to astrogaming.com to see everything that they've got. It's what I've been yelling into this entire time. So if you're trying to commentate some tournaments too, you can yell into your own Astro headset. But yeah, so we've got a very big match coming up, like I said, in the winners finals, and that's just, it's huge, right? It's I mean, Subby needs to win this, but then if Lion wins this, then I think that pushes out Gilbags. I don't know. Hold on, back to the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
back to the spreadsheet.
I'm looking at it as well too. So right now, Gilbags, we do have guaranteed 700. It's official, 710 points. He does come out of the tournament in 5th place. Now, let's say Lionheart jumps up. He could push Gilbags.
Look at the points. Look at the points. If Lion
Look
wins
at
this match and just gets second, it's
Yeah.
a tie between Gilbags and Lion. It's a tie, and it would have to go to a tiebreaker.
Man,
That's wild. That's wild. Okay, so
insane.
that's a huge deal. Obviously, being tied there. If Subby manages to win, then Subby moves forward. But we know that Subby has to win for sure. That's like a guarantee, because if Subby wins the entire tournament, she does end up at 720 points, which will just push out Gilbags by 10 points, which is pretty wild. But here we go. We are going to see the Hannah's Wrath and the Rising Tomahawk just like before, and basically both of them using their variations that are kind of their core variations. But here we go. Who would expect, in one of the most important deciding tournaments of this season, we are going to see the winners finals be between Nightwolf and Scarlet.
I definitely see that coming. Very obscure characters here. Characters you don't really see too often. Up the boiling point there at the end. Getting a little bit more damage there thanks to that amplify. And I love the setup afterwards. Throwing out some projectiles to kind of pose some obstacles in front of Nightwolf so he can't just freely move around. I feel like this is a matchup where Scarlet can kind of be Scarlet as long as you keep mindful of that shoulder charge. You gotta keep him away, and if that shoulder charge does come your way, obviously block it and full combo punish Nightwolf, swinging back, getting that down one frame advantage on hit, and get that throw. Here comes the arrow, the high mids, never falling right into the bubble. I don't like it. I feel like he's getting a little too antsy. You gotta tone it down here if you're trying to make this comeback. But Subby looking great, getting the overhead down one, guaranteeing the jail afterwards. I think the only thing Lioncox probably could have done there is maybe flawless block that high, but that is definitely a tall order in such a clutch situation.
Yeah, this is, so like you were saying, this is a matchup where Scarlet really gets to be Scarlet. That's the one big tool, is actually the reflect that we just saw for the first time, I was about to mention. But Scarlets are so used to being able to not play the Scarlet game that it's like almost the norm that you don't get to play to her full strength. So it's really weird to actually get a match where you can play to her full strength. Very few characters lit her zone as much as she wants to. And I mean, the reflect is just the reflect. It really isn't going to get you a whole lot. So really, this is one of those matchups. And honestly, sometimes the Scarlet players aren't ready to be able to take full advantage of everything that they can do because they're so used to playing from the back foot, which is kind of a sad thing to say. But clearly right now, Subby looking very comfortable. He's going to need to fight out of this corner. Maybe just find the kill from the corner, but ooh, a really good dash forward grab. There's going to be a lot of Oki. Blocks the overhead.
Good block of the overhead. So good, but unfortunately getting opened up there, and that's going to be enough damage. This fatal blow does do a ton of damage here, especially this last little lightning bolt. No. He's alive? No.
Yeah. It's the lightning bolt does a little bit of damage at the start, and you're like, oh, it didn't kill it, and then it does some more at the end when it explodes. But yeah, that was for sure gonna It's like they designed the damage distribution of the fatal blows in this game just to match the commentators' heads. It's like, oh, there's one more little hit in there. There's no way it's gonna kill. Oh, it killed. That's like what it always is. But okay,
but it's always yeah, no, definitely a good turnaround here. and a huge, shift of momentum in favor of Linecock with perfect teleport here from Stubby, getting a little bit of a combo at the end. Not a huge damaging, punish, but is able to get a little bit more control of the situation. Flawless blocking to reduce as much chip damage as possible, but that mid, that eagle being thrown out there, very tough to avoid. While she's going, she cannot use a meter at all. But, she's got a lot of variety of tools. She doesn't really need meter for a lot of them.
Ooh, this is scary, though. Oh, this is really scary. So any conversion now into Fatal Blow is going to be it. Oh, gets forward. Didn't get the whip punish. Really needed that whip punish. I don't know exactly what the best option would have been. That was a huge risk to go for that shoulder, but it did, in the end, pay off just by getting the whiff. And, I mean, Subby was controlling that game the entire time. And then just a huge turnaround, I think, from getting that conversion into the Fatal Blow for the kill. And then it just looked like Lion was ready. So he's going to be taking the first game. But again, I do think that if Subby manages to control the pace of the matchup and the space of the matchup, it's going to be pretty tough for Nightwolf to get in.
Yeah, you see Nightwolf relying a lot on, and not to say that this is the wrong way to do it. Like, you definitely need to go for the shoulder. It is very unsafe, but it is a way to kind of make someone, second guess. You're getting past that layer of, Scarlet, or you're getting past that range where Scarlet's just like, I can pretty much do whatever I want. I can throw out the slow bubble, the fast projectile, the ground projectile, or once you get past that, that threat of shoulder charge, that check is what's going to be, second guessing. And right there, Scarlet walking right back away from him, but not ready to swing with a whip punish at all. Well, back-to-back flawless blocks from the down both players. These players are super hungry. These players want it. They want to move on. They want to get those points. They want to qualify for the big jump. But there's Axe. Getting anything though.
Yeah, there's a lot of checking with normals here from Subby. There's really, I like that. Yeah, sure, you have to block your own blood ball, but it's a punish. That's why we don't see the reflect that often. You really need to use the reflect from kind of a closer range, and Death Hannah's Wrath was not a particularly good trade. Of course, it's going to stop the meter spend, but so much of that was already wasted. Uh-oh, here we go. Okay, immediately breaks away. Now one more opening, and that could be it. The Fatal Blow combo is there. There's 2 bars. Well, now there's not 2 bars, so that's actually kind of a big deal. But the life is a little bit lower, and the grab's going to be it. Is that a back grab? No, it's a forward grab. So that's
go
one of those things
mix.
Yeah, you expect the back grabs. The forward grab's a little bit more guaranteed. And it does knock back really far. Plus you've got the teleport, so you put out that word.
Yeah. That off recovers so quickly here. Super duper plus after amplifying those 8 arrows right in the corner. Nice little anti-air here coming out of Subby. That stand 3. Just so much work here for you. And what a punish. Maybe thinking that, threatening the amplified version of that arrow was going to be enough to not find the punish, but Subby ready at the helm, ready to swing as fast as possible here. Here comes the Hawk, no meter able to be spent there. Could have possibly went with a far teleport to get some space, but not going to be an option here. Breaking away, down to nothing, and Subby wakes up with the fatal blow. Wakes up with the fatal blow, and Linecock cannot believe it. But hey, sometimes those layer 1 options, they work again. Someone's not thinking that. They're too concerned about, trying to make up 3 wins. Or they're too concerned about trying to chase down the roll. And, they forget to go back to that primary, that very first option. Wake up fatal blow. It's a good option, high reward, but of course high risk. So you don't see it too often.
Yeah, especially post-nerf, right? And once they lowered the amount of essentially like armor that you have on it, like it becomes armored later in its startup is the way I should say it. Honestly, that seemed like a pretty intentional setup, right? Where it was like, okay, I see the 1-1-1 whiff, I know the timing that I can get in between the hits of 1-1-1. And that's why I'm going for it, rather than just like, I'm just mashing it on Wake Up, because there was like the delay before it, and you can't really. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up your Oki in situations like that where your meaty's not tight enough if they're just going to go for that wake-up fatal blow. So I think it was a delayed wake-up mix-up, really, almost as much as it was like a read with the fatal blow. But, again, I'm glad that this is a very close match, as pretty much most of them today have been, because the stakes are so high. And, I mean, also, when do we ever get to see Nightwolf versus Scarlet?
Ever. We never get to see this. I love how Nightwolf's down 3 is so much range and it's so plus on hit. It just makes you so scared to do anything afterwards. Throwing out Blood Bubble, trying to get Nightwolf to kind of, stand up into it. And that's that shoulder check. You kind of see Subby being, a little bit too, like anticipating it too much. And then once you anticipate the shoulder charge too much, that kind of gives Nightwolf, free reign to going with the overhead, going with the crazy jumping, because you're sitting there holding on a block because you want to block this to punish it. The tongue from full screen, trying to get something going here, but unfortunate for Subby, losing resources to any of her bar. Close that round off. Close that round off. Line up.
Yeah, and once you get to that really low health territory, Hannah's Wrath becomes like a really terrifying projectile, because you don't have really a lot of great ways to deal with it without pushing yourself into a spot where you were guaranteed going to get chipped afterwards. So yeah, that was kind of a checkmate situation, maybe like a teleport situation. But Lion definitely controlling the match this time around. Getting a little bit of health back was a nice little bonus right there for Subby, but I mean, still maybe about half the life. Oh, that was weird looking. That like made my eyes cross. Trying to see that.
Like, where did they go?
Where did both of them go? They switched places. Like they used Okay, so now look at this. The damage adding up. But Lion has Fatal Blow. They both have Fatal Blow. That could have been the Fatal Blow in the jump in. They both got to be very careful. I mean, we know that at the very least, Subby's willing to use it now. Oh, this is so scary. Oh, doesn't do it in the jump in again, but the down 2 crushing blow, and that should be enough. Another down 2. Yeah, smart choice there not to go for the breakaway. A lot of people would just kind of muscle memory that as soon as possible, but Lion was ready. Said, you know what, bummer, I lost this one, but I can still take this. Still got another round, so I don't want to spend out my meter too quickly.
Yeah, exactly. The mindset you gotta have. Hold on to things, especially if they're not going to do you any good. The lose situation. Might as well have the meter going into the next round. The bubble making the connection there as the arrow is still being active. Still holding out that bow. Here comes the low projectiles and the reflect. Like you said, Chef, that's when you use the reflect when you get a little bit closer. But Subby adapting to that situation, going for the teleport the second time around. No access to meter there as she's glowing yellow. Oh, the standing position leaves her susceptible to a throw. And that's going to be cleaning up here. Game number 3 for Lion Cox. And this is the winner's finals. So not necessarily a death sentence for the loser, but it is going to be a little bit of a tougher path, especially for Subby. Really needs a win here in today's bracket. Like, more than anybody else in this bracket, Subby needs to come out the winner if there's even a chance of qualifying for the sub-regional final.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, technically, either of these players can still make it because, they're not out of the tournament yet, regardless if it loses. But, I mean, this is gigantic. Absolutely gigantic for both of them. And also really big for every other player who's still trying to qualify. Like I said, right now, Gil Bags is in a really tough spot where he's got to watch and look at other players to see exactly who wins and loses, to see if he can hold on to his spot as he's currently sitting in 8th place. And I guess I just want to give a little disclaimer personally that this is all my own personal math that I'm doing. So anything that I say could be slightly off by something. There could be other added rulings as far as some sort of points things, but I'm relatively confident. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But this is, like I said, a very important match, and now Lion just needs to win one more to get into that grand finals in winner's side, and you can see he smells the blood. I mean, look at this, truly like a lion going in for the kill right now.
Yeah, definitely saw that wake up 3 coming from Subby, and just was kind of putting the nail in the coffin there. The flawless block. That's a very demoralizing feeling. Like when you go for that wake up 3 and somebody flawless blocks it, it does not feel good. It does not feel good one bit. You come up with resources, you get full combo punished. It's not fun at all. And look at the control here from Lioncox, controlling the space and going in and out of that shoulder, that shoulder charge range. And then once he hits, able to kind of go in there for either a fake throw, shimmy, or an actual throw, holding on to that Oki. And Lioncox is running away with this, and knocking Subby into the losers finals. Lioncox guaranteeing himself second place or better, guaranteeing himself a nice comfy seat here in the grand final. But don't count Subby out just yet. Anyone can still make this in. Anyone still in the tournament who still has at least one tournament life still intact, and just gonna have to pull a little harder for the Warriors falling down into the lower bracket. So don't count anyone out. Just
Yeah, and so I think, doing my math now, I think it is guaranteed for, because everybody else is out. Ravioli's out, and so I believe that it's guaranteed now that unfortunately Gilbags cannot make it to the top 8 finals, because as it stands, Solar Plexus is sitting in that 7th place spot, and Gilbags is still sitting in the 8th place spot. But regardless, whoever wins the tournament, whether it be either, because there's only 3 other players left, right? There's Subby, there's Lion, and there's Temp, right? They're all and Solar. Yeah. So any of them, regardless if any of them win. Oh no, actually, there is a way. There is a way that Gilbags can make it.
Yes.
If Solar wins, because he's already ahead of him, and if Solar wins, then that could be it. And Temp has to lose right now. So it just has to be Solar all the way through. If Solar manages to win all the way through, Gilbags still has a chance. So I was a little bit preemptive on saying that he didn't stand a chance. Wow. So this is still really close.
This is really complicated. There's a lot of moving parts here. So even if Lioncox gets second place, but see, if Lioncox gets second place, which is guaranteed, that's a
they're
tie
tied.
with Gilbag.
They're tied. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's true too. I overlooked that. But so they're tied. Yeah. At the very minimum now, Solar Plexus can cause Gilbags and Lion to tie, and then it'll go to the tiebreaker. And there's no way that either of us can figure out the tiebreaker. We figured out that there's like a whole big list of things, it's the seasonal match history between the players.
Yeah.
There's like the tiebreaker match, and then there's like round robin matches between them. It's very, very complicated. So regardless, Gilbags is, like I said, is in a very tough spot. But okay, so there's a lot that's coming up. But of course, before we get to that, I want to give another huge shout out to PS4 tournaments, where we couldn't be in this tense situation without them. Of course, Pro Competition is being presented by PS4 tournaments alongside the Open Series. And you can sign up for a bunch of different types of tournaments. Of course, unfortunately, today was the last open tournament of the Pro Competition, but there's still a ton of different tournaments. Plus, you get to see where you can watch the end of the brackets here when we get to these regional finals. But of course, the main place to go is compete.playstation.com, where you can sign up yourself. You can see a bunch of videos on what the pros are saying. There's a ton of interviews and articles, a lot of good stuff. And then you can sign up for tournaments all where you play completely through your PlayStation. Very, very easy. It's what these players have been doing to get to this point. But now we're really getting into the meat of this tournament. This is really where everything is decided. I mean, there have been some matches that have kind of set up like who can't make it, but now there are still 5 people that were here at the start of today that all have the chance to make it into the top 8. I think we might see now, though, that Solar Plexus might be guaranteed to have a spot. I'm not 100% sure on that. There is a chance maybe that he can't. I know for sure that he would like to win at least one more match to really solidify that spot. Or actually, wait a minute. No.
If you think of Solar
I
Plexus
messed
is
up.
jumping up.
I messed up. There's some player above that I didn't see. A lot of what I said might be completely gone because Ald actually has 690 points. I thought he had 790 points, but he's got 690 points.
Right.
So actually, okay, so you see, this is really difficult. This is why I said that everything that I've been saying is very, very much potentially wrong because Ald now actually is the player who's holding that 8th place spot. It's not Gilbags. So Ald is now... Oh no, Ald is guaranteed out too. But Gilbags is holding the 7th place spot. So I would say, okay, yeah, Solar Plexus is guaranteed, I think, for the top 8, which is very, very congratulations to him, very impressive. And Lion now is tied with Gilbags for that last spot. Oh my, I don't know. It's still all up in the air. It's still very much up in the air. Just assume that nothing that I say is set in stone until we actually get there. Like Armor said, this is a lot of math, and I set up like a spreadsheet to automatically do it for me, but it's still like there's so many variables as to what could happen and who could get stuff that it's very, very difficult. But what I do know is that this next match is going to be a very important one where we're going to be seeing Solar Plexus and Temp battle it out because they are both, very, very close there in the running. Solar Plexus is, like I said, on the high end of points. I believe he's kind of guaranteed, but I know for sure that if he wins one more, he is guaranteed, no matter what happens with the rest of the tournament. So he really, really wants to win this. But if he does, then, Temp is out of the running. Temp is out of running, being currently just barely outside of that top 8 spot. And Temp has had a really good run today, an extremely good run.
Temp is tied with Ald, 690 and 690.
Right. But at this point, then it would be, if technically if all the points were the same, then 6th place would be Solar Plexus, and then 7 and 8 would be Gilbags and Lion, right? Technically.
Yeah.
So no matter what, 690 is going to be out at the very, very minimum. So, so a player that's not here, Ald, unfortunately, has been confirmed to not make it, who was in the top 8 at the start of today, unfortunately, is just outside of the range now. And now, like I said, Temp needs to win this. If Temp wins this, seems like pretty confidently I could say that Temp gets in, but really needs to make this happen. And choosing the Collector to go up against the Cetrion. That is an interesting pick, but we'll see if it works out. So here we go, a hugely important match. Let's see who gets some more points, gets further and closer to that top 8 spot, as this is going to be basically both of their last chances, if they do not make this. I mean, if they don't make this, there's still a chance, I guess, that Solar Plexus can make it, but Temp needs to fight. Solar Plexus wants to guarantee that spot too.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure he gets that spot. Temp grab the end of that combo. Command grabbing again afterwards as Solar Plexus holding on to that block point, getting the nice conversion as Solar Plexus gets opened up for going for that forward roll. Temp going crazy with this Collector play, trying to hit that overhead, just doing a really could have been a much, much bigger combo for Cetrion. Good air-to-air here coming out of Solar Plexus. And cannot block a single thing at all. And coming in clutch is that Chef recommended to throw on to anyone's Collector when they have an extra spot ready to go.
So yeah, it's just one of those moves that it's like, maybe it'll come in handy, It allows you to challenge from a range you probably can't, and it's exactly what it did right there. Even though it's the only time you ever use it. Might as well. But here we go. We're going to convert into the command grab. We're going to give Oki the strength of the command grab, but goes for an interesting choice, just the standing 4 kind of meaty, but the backdash on wake ups, especially that great backdash from Cetrion is going to blow that option up. Here we go, full combo, and goes for the reset. But that's a huge amount of damage, but overall, again, the reset doesn't really add all that much damage to that situation. However, Solar Plexus now has Fatal Blow. Oh no, gets hit by the straight mace, and this is really scary. One more conversion to Fatal Blow could be it. Oh, I like that. Tried to bait out the jump, but weird. The forward 3 chakra follow-ups is going to be what it is, and a little bit of rudeness right here. Gonna do the fatality from the back. Turned around somehow for the last bit of strength, but this is gross. Gonna steal some parts. No, this is the one with the eyes again. Yep, like you said, loving the eyes.
Fatality.
Love the eyes, never love the eyes.
Wins.
Is that allowed on here on this broadcast?
I don't know. If you're
Not
saying that
for
the
a long
eyes are
time.
just they're always like rigid eyes. They're not soft eyes. You know, they're never soft eyes.
And it never soft eyes. Very, very rigid. Yeah, just like you said. Not to throw more wrenches into our, scramble for
Oh God.
points. But something we might have not considered is that all did receive points this week because all did enter.
Oh.
But I think it was either 10
Setria,
points or 5,
Collector,
depending on
Setria,
what all placed.
Okay.
It,
Well,
it
then
might have been 5 points, and that I don't think that's going to be enough to put him in the running.
Yeah, 10 points either won't be enough. You would have needed a minimum of 20 points. And
Definitely didn't get it.
okay, if he didn't get 20 points, then yeah, I think that does keep us at about the same thing. And I don't know if there's anybody else who really their points could have mattered at this point. Maybe if we get into like seeding questions later, but it doesn't seem like it's really going to come to that all that much. And if it does, it's not going to matter at all. But here we go, back into the game, where at least I understand what's happening in the game most of the time, as opposed to what's happening in all of these points interactions. We need like a dedicated
It's a lot.
statistician. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're FGC here. we're working with what we got. Okay, guys.
Can't even do basic. Ooh.
There's a down two there, kind of ducked under the throw attempt. But I kind of saw that input error with the bag happening again. And this is coming from a completely different player.
Yeah,
The
it's
teleport being thrown right after at the end of the bag. I mean, or I'm sorry, the bag being thrown after the teleport.
yeah, after the teleport. Yeah. It definitely is an issue that can happen, especially if you're really trying to forward one after the teleport. Oh gosh, look at this. This Chip. You gotta do something. You gotta make a read. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, that's the read. Oh, he catches him, but no full hit. Oh, the 2-1-3 is gonna connect. I'm not sure if that was a chip kill because there was no meter left, or if that was like a guess that it was going to be the low ground pound or something like that. But overall, that was a lot of patience, maybe a little bit too much patience. Still did manage to get the right opportunity, just I guess wasn't able to cash on it as much as possible. Here we go, we're going to see another reset in the corner. We are, it's going to be another command grab. That almost seems like an unnecessary reset because it had the opportunity to give Citron the right read in that situation, and he was already at such a heavy life lead, like it felt like maybe you just cash out. But you know what? Got the read anyway, got the command grab, didn't go for a second hit, and here we go though. Chance to come back.
It's also about conditioning a player. You want them to be scared of certain options, and when you get into situations where you can take a few more risks, I can definitely see some merit in presenting some options, sort of as like presenting bait for some situations a little bit later. Yeah. Broken back here right after Tornado. Right to the vine grab, and that's the challenge that you don't see, unless you're playing at a high level. Like, you gotta challenge Citron, which just throws up the rock wall and no amplify. The risk reward is just so heavily in your favor. You gotta make them always want to spend the meter to keep it safe. Sort of safe. I don't know how some flawless block they have, but they not much a lot of characters to get.
Yeah. At the very least, just like make them have to spend the ball, right? And at least put them into that situation where they want to. But all right, this is scary. Again, a lot of chip. Oh, the bag bomb recovering in time. Bag bomb showing us greatest strengths and greatest weaknesses, but catches the roll with that tornado hit of the tornado. That's gonna be 1-1.
Love the disrespect coming at us. But that bag bomb recovers way faster than I thought, and definitely way faster than Reflexes too. A lot of Centurion players like using that fatal blow as a means or as a way to close out those games. You get them down to 32, 33%, and you just sit and wait for them to do something, whether it's like a projectile or string that they have to commit to, or sometimes even depending on their air options, like if you're going up against Cabal or Jade, if they jump in the air, they're most likely going to throw a projectile to keep themselves in the air, and that fatal blow does auto track, it does connect, and it does hit for more than 30%. A lot of Cetrions like holding on to that for that little nail in the coffin, that last little nail in the coffin. Now, of course, Solar Plexus stay on Cetrion as the last game of the set here. Let's see what kind of options we have for collecting. Kind of going over maybe some different costumes, or could be overall different options. But I definitely think the teleport is going to be necessary in the matchup, because without that teleport, it is very, very easy to keep Collector out. Obviously, that teleport does have a consequence. It can be red and full combo punished, but you want to have that option there so you don't get, zoned out.
Yeah. I mean, it did come into play. Just didn't get quite as much reward off of like making the correct teleport read as maybe he wanted. But it looks like we're going to be sticking with the same variation. Going to have the bag bomb, the command grab, and the teleport. So kind of just maybe taking some time to think about the matchup, to gain a little bit of composure again. I mean, that was a pretty strong first game from Temp, and then Solar Plexus really bringing it back. So you kind of want to like stop and think like, okay, what was different between the first game and the second game? How can I change it? How can I get back to where we were in the first game? Are there any re-adaptations I need to make? There's an answer right there. But right now, okay, here we go. Full hit. Temp took a lot of damage getting in, so the max is going to do really is, okay, again, with the reset, the max is going to do is just kind of even them up, but another opening, and no defensive bar. Oh no, drops the combo, but now a bunch of weird daggers, and honestly, this damage just added up so much.
A lot of one-sidedness here, but hold on, Cetrion is making this comeback here, throwing that back throw, trying to throw up some balls, trying to throw up any kind of obstacles to keep the Collector out, as she's just kind of down to nothing here. Collector doesn't find that last thing. And Temp really not under any kind of pressure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess now under pressure in a very different way, but that last game definitely looked like Temp had control. However, now that it's getting kind of to more of a close game, it looks like Solar Plexus has a little bit more comfort. I mean, there is certainly like a range where the neutral options of like kind of both these characters win out against each other. Like, there's never going to be like, oh yeah, this person just wins at this range and out fully. Because Collector's such a weird character, he's kind of these sweet spots. Take advantage of those, you get rounds like this! Fatal Blow is available, so just needs one more conversion, but this is close to death! Oh, the wake-up Fatal Blow! Maybe, I mean, it was a big risk, he wouldn't have quite been it, but it would have put Chip in territory. And are we going to see another fatality? I hope it's the other one this time. I hope it's the one where, yeah, it is. Where he steals all of the pieces, puts them in his pack, goes to sell them on the black market. I wonder how much a Cetrion liver goes for. And certainly a Cetrion head. That's got to be worth the most, right?
Yeah, it unlocks the that little thing in the crib for you. Definitely gonna need that. Definitely gonna need one of them. Imagine if like you either have to do the 50 fatalities or just do that one fatality with Collector and you automatically get the head. Like at the end where it says like the stuff that you get, you just get the.
That would be pretty great. Oh man, I remember having to fight out for all of those. Oh, that's a thing of the past for me now. I did it, but that was certainly a run.
I always felt a little bad fataling people in Combat League just to get the heads, and I'm like, sorry, I'm not trying to be a mean guy. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I definitely have this Raiden head because nobody plays the character, or not enough to play the character. You gotta fatal every opportunity you can.
Yep. Fatal all the people playing the low tiers, but yep, going back in. Right now, the low tiers kind of doing well, and I mean, again, we did see some nerfs coming in for Cetrion in this last patch, and maybe that's coming into play today. I'm not really sure exactly how the Cetrion is feeling about the nerfs. Obviously, as far as utility, not huge, just damage overall. So, you do a little bit less damage by chipping, and you take a little bit more damage by just the nature of having already taken 50 damage at the start of the game, essentially. So overall, I'm sure the playstyle is the same. But when it comes to a character too that does a lot of damage, like the reset actually worked this time. But I was going to say like Collector, and we're going to see a great example of that right now. Gonna cash out. Look at that. That was one hit into a reset, and now Citron almost dead. This is looking rough. And again, Solar Plexus, needs to win this to guarantee the spot. It might be that he can get it anyway. I think there's a pretty good chance, but yeah, you do not want to go out like this. But this Collector looking scary.
Oh yeah. Super scary. As it's the resets, Oh, it's the call out and the teleports. It's the execution. Like right now, everything is working for Temp. Really not dropping that hard down 2 combo or the combo with the down 2 in the middle of it. Because if you do it too early, you don't get the down poke for the pickup, and it just kind of throws all the momentum out the window right away. Look at the mobility here coming from Solar Plexus. The Temp just staying as possible. Love the side switch, really aware of his surroundings at all times. Impeccable execution as normal. And just kind of trying to slow, or he's trying to discourage Citron from going for that backdash. I think that's 100% what we're seeing here. Solar Plexus is completely frozen on knockdown from Collector because of that base, because of that standing button.
But fought back a little bit, and oh, here we go again. Fatal Blow is available, so just needs to find like one more big conversion. That could be it, but oh no, the drop. That was a huge drop. It's not going to matter though. Gets the pickup again with the command grab, and that is going to be it as Temp moves forward, getting the final bit of disrespect in while it has a chance, and that is going to push Temp up into the spot where now I believe he, at the very minimum, gets above Gil Bags, and it's going to mean that I think Temp is guaranteed to be in the top 8 bracket, the top 8 regional finals. Over here looking again at this sheet. So where we're at, right, as far as this goes. So we've got 3 players left in the tournament, right? We've got Lion, we've got Subby, and we've got Temp. So just kind of like looking at this as like a reorganization. We've got 5th place, so 1st to 5th, it's all players that are not in this tournament. Now 6th place is still currently Temp, or no, it's not Temp. It's currently Solar Plexus. So Solar Plexus is holding on tight. I think Solar Plexus is probably good. 7th place now is going to be at a minimum, it will be Temp with 720, and then 8th place is at the minimum a tie between Lion and Gilbags. Yeah, it's a tie between Lion and Gilbags. But if Lion wins the whole tournament, then Lion pulls ahead. If Subby wins the whole tournament, Subby can still do it. I think maximum. Subby.
There's so many numbers to look at.
Points.
Guys,
I know.
So many moving parts. But we are, during the break, we're definitely going to solidify and make sure that we have everything. We have everything down. We're going to look at a bunch of things. We're going to be talking to the admins and the mods. So we are going to have the right information for you guys. But before we go to a quick break, I do want to give a shout out to the merch. If you guys want to rep your realm, rep the game you love to play, head on over to Amazon.com/Mortal Kombat. We got Melina shirts, Scorpion shirts, Sub-Zero shirts, as you guys can see here. But there are also Raiden shirts and Liu Kang shirts. On top of that, you can represent your regions, whether you're NA, Liga Latina, Intercontinental, Oceania, whatever you want to rep, whatever different colors, different styles. They got tank tops, suns out, guns out. So if you guys want to go there, you guys can definitely get whatever you want there and whatever colors they come in. So a lot of different options, a lot of great merch there. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with some accurate information, and we're going to be right back with our top 3 finalists today. Don't go anywhere.
jokes, no gimmicks, just combat.
PlayStation.
Hey guys, Ketchup and Mustard here, and it's time to test your might in the Mortal Kombat 11 Open Series. Ready to rumble? Power on your PlayStation and head to the Events app, filter by type, and select a convenient date and time. Boot up MK11 and locate the PS4 Tournaments menu option. Click it to visit a familiar place, the Console Events tab. Sign up and prepare to play. Once registered, you can view your tournament details and check-in time. A notification will remind you to tighten your black belt and get over here for your match. Continue combat in the open qualifiers to close in on the competition. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the tournaments.
PlayStation. Who are you?
I'm your worst nightmare.
Any ring I step into is mine. End of the line.
Then this fight is now personal.
It is exhausting being so perfect.
And welcome back. It's time to close out the final 8th week of the Mortal Kombat Pro Competition for Oceania. It's time to see who will for sure qualify for the regional finals. And like Arma said, we did manage to get a little bit more of accurate information. We compiled it all together. There's been a lot of changes during the tournament, and we've figured out that basically we have some really sick matches that matter a lot coming up. So as we stand, we do have a few different players that are guaranteed basically into top 8. Just to say the names that we haven't seen today, Wasminator is going to be number 1, Swazi 2, Bajiga 3, Sagat 4, and those are pretty much guaranteed. I don't think anybody can actually break those. Wi-Fi Scorpion is at 5th. He's guaranteed top 8. Somebody can overtake his place, but Solar Plexus is guaranteed 6th. So congratulations, Solar Plexus. Even though you did go out in that final round that we just saw, you're still guaranteed, as far as I know, to make it into the top 8. Again, you know, admins have the final say on everything. Don't take anything I say for facts. But now it comes down to every match matters. Every single one of these players can qualify, can still potentially not qualify. Temp actually is kind of guaranteed to qualify, but can push forward into some further placements. Now, Subby has the most pressure on her of anybody here. Subby needs to win every match from here on out, and if she does, she qualifies for the regional finals, but has to win every single match, has to win the entire tournament. And if that's the case, then yeah, that is definitely a qualification. And on the other side, Lion is who's waiting up in the grand finals, is still just waiting to need to win one more. Otherwise, it's going to be like a potential 3-way tie for the final spot, which is going to be a really tough tiebreaker. But here we go, the first of the gigantic matches to decide who's going to make it. It's going to be losers finals between Temp and Subby, and we are going to see Temp go back to the Devora, but already starting out with a good read, amplifying that parry.
Okay, get some damage on the Liberty here, and it kind of sets the stage with a certain tone. I'm willing to do that parry if you're trying to rely on some beautiful punish here from Subby. Good call out on that breakaway, connecting that down to getting as much damage as possible. Even though Devora is using that bar, Subby loves to hit that down to a lot of neutral ducking coming out of this Scarlet. So you definitely got to be on your toes if you're playing Devora for Temp. We see here, Chef.
Yeah, we're seeing some really weird baits here. A lot of neutral jumps from kind of max range to try to bait out the anti-air. You can't anti-air. There's a hurt box on. Oh, again! Again, but it's the other way around! It's exactly the situation from earlier. Both players throwing out their fatal blows at the exact same moment, but this time it's not the Sub-Zero kind of slower fatal blow. It's the Scarlet nearly instantaneous fatal blow. And so now we've seen the same stage, the same situation, but this time Devora has lost it. And so good usage of it. Clearly all these players having some sort of experience against each other to know exactly when to do that. But yeah, first round going to Subby on a really good read, and that's got a quick break.
Yeah, definitely, especially considering that those fatal blow options are not safe at all. So you've got the successful fatal blow there, don't have to worry about it for the rest of the game, but neither does Temp of the neutral jump punch, pretty much at max range here. It's going to be asset for Devora here, getting hit there by the overhead, and here comes the down to ducking right under a eye, cashing in big time, and Scarlet coming off that breakaway, coming off those bars, as Temp just trying to keep it as safe as possible, just decides to jump over that projectile. So Temp kind of having the right mindset, knowing the right timing of when to anticipate these projectiles and really cash in big here. Subby with really good meterless damage there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really often that you get to fully pull off all of your meterless damages, Scarlet, but it is a lot of damage if you do manage to land a full 2-1-2, especially if you have Boiling Point, which can lead to more damage in chip, because its Oki is so good to spin that bar. But yeah, getting a life lead early is going to be nice, however, it can disappear very quickly, and I think one of the main reasons why we're seeing this... Oh, here we go. Oh, just one. It wasn't the meters one. So I'm not going to get full combo. But I was going to say, one of the biggest reasons I think why we're seeing this Devorah is because it has a teleport. It's a strike teleport, which not a lot of characters actually have in this game, which is a weird thing because I feel like a lot of characters usually do, but we mostly see it from like Scorpion, not that many others.
I love how Subby decided to cut the combo short because of the Oki bug. Oh, but unfortunately, not going to be enough. And here comes the ultimate, in my opinion, the ultimate disrespect here. Might have been a cancel from the down one, but either way, fatal blows after the finishing screen. You love to see it. Love the disrespect from these players. I think it's a little bit more of trolling, but still, these guys, everybody in very... very familiar with each other.
Yeah, did they have some sort of agreement at the start of today where they're like, yeah, let's disrespect the crap out of each other no matter what? Because, like I said, these players, they play against each other a lot. I mean, most of these players have entered every single week or almost every single week of the pro competition. And even aside from that, they've, played each other in a bunch of different other online tournaments. I'm sure a lot of them are training partners with each other. So it's weird. I don't understand the whole thing today of like, yeah, let's all, teabag each other and do fatalities, do fatal blows after the finish him screen. Like, it's just the pace being set for today. Maybe they're all saying, hey, you know what? We're all friends, but no chance of mercy today because, you don't want to play the whole season and then just barely not qualify for the top 8. That is a rough spot to be in for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people are risking things, by different. So even now, the way that things are panned out, we could potentially get a three-way tie for that last qualifying spot. So this is the way the points are set up right now. Insane, absolutely insane.
Yeah, and just for the record for everybody, the way that that's set up is if Temp wins this entire tournament, wins this match, then beats Lion, then that will be a three-way tie between Owl, Gilbags, and Lion for that Clary final spot, which I'm sure will be an extremely fun thing for our admins to try to figure out, so good luck to them on that. But I think I know that the admins are probably rooting now for somebody else to win so that they don't have to do that incredibly difficult math and bring out all the records. It is hype. It is actually really hype.
Super hype. Whoa! Decides to go for some crazy fatal blow, but I really got to give it to Subby for maintaining composure, being patient, and not. A lot of people like to poke after that because they're like, "Oh, she's negative. It's my turn." But Subby one step ahead, knowing to just block and punish. Something on the lines. Here comes the Oki. Yeah, that bug. Definitely don't want to be on the wrong end of that. And you're in the corner, possibly thinking about using that interactable to get out, but Subby finding the regular hits the old-fashioned way to try to get out of the corner. But Temp pushing her closer and closer up against the ropes, up against the wall. Baits out that teleport, doesn't decide to, decides to look for that breakaway there instead of going for the full combo. So, you always got to mix it up. What? She just hopped over her? She just hopped over her?
I think that's
big time with this fatal blow. Yeah, super dead. You are super dead. You got at least 2 more hits here. Giant spear going right through your throat. I mean, the hop over to the other side. And look at that. That, even there at the end of that windscreen, Subby showing, I'm not trying to give up any what's the word that I'm looking for? Any mind or any any thoughts on trolling or trying to be, a little
not
funny
gonna
here.
Expend any energy. Not going to.
There you go.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Mental energy.
Sure.
Mental energy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend any mental energy on business.
I mean, that can honestly be a mistake. Like honestly, giving your opponent the time during a fatality is kind of a lot. Like, if it's a really good player, you know, they might be able to take that little bit of extra time and say, okay, whatever, I'm getting fatality, I'm going to look away from the screen, I've seen this a million times. All right, so what did I do wrong in that last matchup? What's, you know, I got a little bit run over. What mistakes did I make? What do I have to be ready for next time? Okay, I'm ready for this, you know? And so, honestly, sometimes you just want to go back into it. You know, you just want to immediately go, because you're like, I got the momentum. You're suddenly on playing from the back foot. Let's just go again. Let's play, you know? And so, you know, as fun as it is sometimes the fatality, or brutal, or whatever. Well, brutal's not exactly the same thing, but, you know, whatever you're doing is like a finisher, it can be a mistake. It really can. We've seen it before.
Oh yeah, we've seen people crumble under, you know, bad decisions a lot in today's broadcast so far, but let's see how much it's actually going to affect them when it comes to those standings for this regional finals. Poking back and amplifying those little pokes from Devora, and it looked like Subby was looking for some kind of parry there. Unfortunately, no parryable poke did come her way with the neutral jump, but Devora not fighting at all, waiting for just a simple hit confirm. Subby on the bad side, the bad corner here, not really going to have much in terms of, you know, spacing, but does have access to that change machine, but doesn't. I mean, I feel like I don't see Subby using interactables much in this game, you know, at all. So, you know, it's kind of like a no mix-up. You know, you anticipate a lot of people to use those escapable interactables, and you kind of forget about the regular options. Here comes a regular throw. That was going to be quite some comeback for Subby to make, but in a better position here space-wise. Now you're a little bit closer to the middle of the screen. You're not up against the ropes. You're not stuck in the corner with limited mobility. Here comes the back throw, smart stuff, and Subby just kind of shutting down a lot of options here, throwing out those moves, and kind of making Devora feel like you can't really move. Nice little hit confirm here. Hopefully gonna cash in big. Some good damage here. Throwing down that Oki bug. Here it comes. A little too far away though. And that's very specific to this matchup. Subby using those buttons that push Scarlet a little farther. What a neutral jump punch. What a neutral jump punch.
Ooh, but yeah, the other way around too. Oh no, a drop, and that is going to be, yeah, no defensive bars. So you want to cash out as much as possible. Oh, jumps past each other. Oh, this is scary, big advantage. And that's unsafe, but nope, not pressing any buttons. Nothing back. Both these players being patient. So many jumps, still gonna be safe. Oh, jumps, but oh, there's so many things that can be punished here, but nothing's getting punished, and the raw teleport! Who does that? And there we go, no mistake this time. We saw the jump kick into the fatal blow whip earlier, but this time Temp is like, no. Just fatal blow, I don't care, anything I do here will kill, gonna guarantee it. And that was a scramble. I mean, you know, the pressure is for sure on here. And you do not want to drop any opportunity, especially when it comes to stuff like that, you know, unpunished grabs, unpunished hop overheads, and I know it's like a weird situation, but that can be the what turns the tide of the entire, not only this tournament, not only this match, but also the just, I don't even know what to say, like the whole season, really. So as we go up for is this actually, it's 2-0 now for Temp, right? Or is it 2-1? Oh my, I forget now.
I want to say, I forgot too, I want to say it's 2-0 in Temp's favor, but hopefully somebody in the chat can help us out. We're just trying to confirm the score.
It's 2-1. It's 2-1, right? Because
2-1.
We saw the disrespectful fatal blow, or the first time.
You're right.
The second one we saw
right.
Yeah, I blanked out for a second there. We saw the very quick ender, and now we're seeing another. So Temp needs to win one more game, and that means that, again, you know, Subby has to play from the back foot. It's not going to be easy. Is going to lock into Scarlet for the rest of this series, which, again, can be a little bit of an issue, considering the fact that Temp has so many characters. Is that counter hit? No, it was an empty jump, so it's not going to be that huge crushing blow, which is a very, very important thing to avoid. That's literally like the strongest combo starter maybe in the game, or at least the strongest, like, one of them.
I would say it's one of the strongest crushing blows in this game. And it's not a tough requirement to beat. And it makes you just not want to jump in on Devora. I mean, so much damage, you get a free jump in. And then from there, you can, you know, it's pretty much party time. You can kind of force out that breakaway and throw down that Oki bug. It's so good. It is so good. But either way, backing off here, Subby put herself quite a bad spot here in the corner, especially after the pick confirmed. A lot of bad things going to be happening here. Is she going to break away? She does there at the end. But it looks like Temp wasn't ready for it with the Oki bug, dropping it down for some good setup. Instead, just kind of going back to the neutral, back to neutral jump punching. In that perfect max range there from Devora. Stand 3 from Scarlet, giving her a little bit of breathing room. Does find the way, find the room, the time to teleport out of there. But unfortunately, when you're down to that little health, all it takes is one little poke. So, not too many great opportunities outside of, some super duper clutch, flawless blocks when you're throwing out super offense like that.
Yeah, and I mean, did manage to get out of the corner, which is, like you said, a really big deal. As we can see, the Scarlet corner pressure can be a little bit scary, but it's these neutral jumps that have worked so well for Temp. I mean, it's just been almost the majority of the mileage. Drops the sides with combo, but oh, here we go! 2 drops, I mean, a drop and then a big risk in a row altogether. That could spell like a very different game that we might end up seeing. And there we go, a second parry in a row. Gonna spend the bar. Maybe one day we'll get to see that crushing blow in the tournament, but we're never going to see this crushing blow in the tournament. Down 2 into down 2. Ease away, get the setup, a little bit too far away, but still allows the pressure to continue. Oh, here we go, evens up the life total by stealing back some health.
Love the Punisher from Subby, ready to swing when that Stinger was not amplified. You gotta be ready, you can't let your opponents get away with these crazy things. A lot of poking here, gonna amplify. Subby trying to move, trying to get a little bit of space between herself and Temp. But unfortunately, in this game, when you're moving, you're not holding on a block. When you're not holding on a block, that fatal blow can rip at any second, and it is so fast. Temp going to be moving on to the grand finals, and unfortunate for Subby is going to be the end of their run. No longer going to be able to qualify for that sub-regional finals, but thank you so much for making it intense, making it come down to the wire, and just giving us some great content. And what a tournament, man. But we still have grand finals, so like we said before, a lot is riding here. Temp is looking for that final spot. The difference between first place and second place is significant, huge in terms of points. And like Chef alluded to before, you don't want to come into this sub-regional finals seated at 8th place, because that means first round you're going to be going up against the most dominant player of this region, which is Wazinator. You don't want to be there.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you literally, so this is kind of easy now to do the math, right? Now that we're down to 2 players. Yeah. Like you said, unfortunately, Subby just wasn't quite able to make it. I mean, of course, so much of that came down to the fact that Temp was able to, I mean, again, that's a rematch actually from the first game of the entire day, where Subby barely outwon that matchup against Temp, but Temp bring it back, having confidence in that Devora. But overall now, we've got, so Subby can't make it. Lion is currently tied for 8th with 2 other people, 3-way tie. But if Lion does manage to win this next match, Lion will be put up for sure, guaranteed to be in there. Temp will be in the 8th place spot. Those other 2 people that were tied, they're out, unfortunately, which will be Ald and Gilbags. But if Temp wins this, Temp moves way up in the rankings, and we do have that tie for 8th place, which is going to have to be decided. So it's a huge match, but before we get into the finals and see who's guaranteed for sure into that spot, we got to give one more final shout out to Astro, who's allowed us to really yell about all of these things the entire day. A lot of math going through these microphones right here today. A lot of it incorrect math, but regardless, still math. So huge thank you to Astro, of course, the official audio partner of the MK11 Pro competition. And you can go to astrogaming.com to get yourself some sweet gear. And I'm ready to yell even more into these microphones, I think, considering how much matters in this very final match. And, neither of these players wants to, go down here. You don't want to be in that 8th place spot and have to take on Waz in the very first game of the regional finals, nor do you want to, obviously, be in this 8th-way tie where you have to, I don't know, it's just going to come down to tiebreakers. And I mean, when Ald and Gilbags, they're extremely successful, so I feel like that's going to be a hard tiebreaker to win. And again, it's not a match, there's a lot of different factors that go into it. Even more difficult math, which I'm going to leave to people smarter than me, or at least to people who have calculators.
Look, man, we got Excel, or fake Excel. We're good. So the way that things are sitting right now, with Temp, let's say theoretically Temp just gets second place. Temp is going to be finishing with 750 points. That is going to still pretty much have them in that 7th place spot, but it's just. But then you also have Lioncox who's going to jump up above, which means Temp is going to get that 8th place spot. So is Temp guaranteed at this point?
Temp is guaranteed, yes. Yeah, so if Lion wins this match, he goes to 800, and Temp is in there still, but he's 8th place, right? So realistically, that's what you're kind of fighting against, is Lion, you want to win this so you're not in the 8th place seat, because that is a really big deal, right? I mean, you want to be able to play Waz as late as possible, considering how dominant he's been. But, you know, definitely Lion not guaranteed, but he's in the winner's side, you know? He's got that huge advantage. He's also doing quite well in this first match, which I almost didn't even talk about during the first round, because it happened so fast. It was a very quick one, and who would have thought? Who would have thought that the fates of so many players to get into the finals of this season of the Mortal Kombat Pro Competition would be between Collector and Nightmare? What a world we live in.
Hey man, it's a crazy, again, coming down to that final qualifying week. I mean, sometimes people want to play different things. Sometimes you want to, keep your opponent guessing. Maybe, take out those characters that they weren't anticipating or weren't as familiar with. That's the Hawk coming at you. Definitely a super mid. That arrow that goes over everything.
The super high.
Look at that mid. Super high, yeah, the fake mid and the real mid.
Oh, what? That was, I mean, obviously that would have led to like 500 more damage, but what a funny way to end it. Not funny though if you're Temp, of course. You are fighting from the back foot here, and you really, really need this win. But that was a rough one. You kind of died in a weird way. Nobody likes that. You can, of course, just jab to punish the shoulder no matter what. Which is, of course, a full combo for Collector. So you generally shouldn't ever be hit by that crushing blow. If you do, you're like, oh, I was too slow. That sucks.
Yeah.
And that doesn't feel good. It for sure doesn't feel good, especially when you're already starting off at a disadvantage and you really want this win.
A lot riding here on where you're going to end up in terms of seeding, and or if you're even going to qualify. You don't want to. I mean, this is looking like it's on its way to that crazy 3-way tie, I believe, if Lioncox is the one that takes it.
No, if Lion wins, then Ald and Gilbags are out, and there's no tie. It's just Temp is 8th,
yeah.
Lion is 5th, tied for 5th, I think, and Solar Plexus is 6th, or 7th, and then Temp 8th. Yeah. So currently, if things keep going as it is in that last game, then we will have a for sure, I would say, set top 8. But again, I'll say it again one more time, probably later in the broadcast. But this is all just my own math, so it could very much be wrong. So of course, always wait for the admins to make an official ruling. But at the very minimum, I'm confident that if one of these players wins the entire tournament, that they will for sure guarantee their spot. That at the very, very minimum.
And not only that, but they're also going to be in a really nice middle seed, a nice little tournament path according to bracketology. You want to ride that momentum. You don't want to get derailed quickly. It's very, very easy to get derailed by a very, very good player. Downward shot. Is Jackie going to make this comeback?
No way.
Overhead. That was so good. That was so good. And she just did it so fluidly, so smart, so smooth. Not going to be enough to kill, but what's going to be the next thing up on the menu?
No!
He just did down.
No!
Round 2.
He just smashed down 2 at the end of that.
What a comeback, right? What a comeback from Temp. that was literally at like 1 HP. Like, I mean, maybe not literally, but like there was one hit away. There was nothing that you could take at that point. But managed to make the whole way, but unfortunate for Lion to just down to that punishable situation. Still, though, it doesn't look like Lion is being discouraged by that at all. Just dominating the start of this round as quickly as the other ones. Keeping it, I like that. Oh, no, uh-oh. Okay, no punish on the shoulder charge. But it's not going to matter. Luckily for Temp, manages to get out of the corner, which is going to be a very big deal in this matchup. Towards him, brings some nice Oki.
Love Oki. Breaking away, trying to get out of that combo as soon as possible. But, you know, you coming off those resources, no longer have to worry about those wake-up options. Down to get off of me, a down shot. Jackie trying to get some kind of momentum, but it looks like Lioncock's not even giving Temp a chance to breathe. 2-0, pretty decisive outside of that, you know, incredible comeback. Super duper comeback situation. It was definitely less than like 3%, but Lioncock didn't let it affect him. Just kind of stayed the course, stayed composed. Tracked on. One
that was
game away.
It was like the maximum amount of damage you can deal in a set. You know, it was almost like taking 3 full rounds. It's about as close as you can get to it, if that was even possible. But yeah, I mean, this is surprising, honestly. I mean, you know, Lion has done well in these tournaments before, but coming into this, not, you know, like really like on the lower end of where the players in this top 8 were placing in points altogether. And I do know that Lion was a bit of a like later entry, at least as far as like starting to do well in the pro competition season, But, I mean, this is looking like a very dominant game. I really expected, especially, I mean, Temp has done so well in so many different tournaments, has so many different character options. I expected this to be extremely close, like it has been in a lot of the other sets today. But maybe, I mean, this is also looking like just Lion is so confident, so comfortable. This might be one of those players who's just like, I'm here, I can see the top of the mountain, I feel that, like, you know, the energy's coursing through me, I feel the victory, and this will guarantee me that spot. So this just might be one of those players that thrives off of that amount of pressure and being that close to the end, but just needs one more game, and Temp needs to win 3 games straight and then another 3 games. So not going to be an easy path. Not starting off that great either.
Especially not when you're getting opened up because you're going for up 3s. This is definitely Lioncock's like just smelling blood in the water. But honestly, I think a majority of this is Temp running out of gas. Temp got knocked in the losers bracket pretty quickly on today's broadcast and just made, you know, crazy comeback after crazy comeback. And, you know, you gotta wonder, how fatigued is he right now? I mean, can he just kind of dive in, get that last little bit of gas at the bottom of the tank, whereas Lioncock's just going to keep rolling over? And right now, 1 round away, Lioncock's hitting that shoulder check. Really nothing Temp can do here. Almost seems like there's nothing Temp can do here, but here's the huge momentum swing. We talked about how this is the best crushing blow in the game. I don't know how people are still downplaying Defora, but they are. Big, no, I was going to say jump in here at the end. Trying to get a little side switch. Down to crushing blow. Huge damage. Decides to get the guarantee down to afterwards, just in case that breakaway does come. Temp being very, very patient here. Of course, you got to take that Hawk. Very, very hard to avoid it. It's a mid. It's very fast. Has no recovery at all. Super fair move. Jump in, punch, but he doesn't commit.
No, yeah, you gotta have confidence, especially at a moment like this. Here we go. Oh, a grab. This is gonna be Oki again. This is tournament points and qualifying point for Lion. Goes for the raw down 2. Gets the punish for the down 2. There's defensive bar. There has to be breakaway. No breakaway, but that's gonna be it. It's gonna be the Hannah's Wrath to get the very final hit of the tournament. And the friendship will seal the deal. Of course, this friendship is always all about the bear in the background. He's the one who's doing the real work. Everybody else, sure, you can jump through a hoop. It's easy. But congratulations then to Lion. Such a dominant performance in the grand finals. I had some close matches earlier today, but that means that Lion is for sure, in my eyes, going to qualify for this top 8. And Temp had a great run. And of course, Temp still qualifying as well. So again, just my disclaimer, this is all my own personal math. The final word always comes from the admins, from the official tournament staff, because I know that I'm terrible at math, and I know that I'm terrible and I'm going to forget something. But I have I have the the unofficial list of the qualifiers. Before we do that, though, let's give one final shout out to the PS4 tournaments. We'll leave it hang a little bit so that we can get some suspense going. But of course, PS4 tournaments is the presenter of the Mortal Kombat 11 Pro Competition, and of course the PS4 Tournaments Open Series. Lots of tournaments being run by PS4 Tournaments for Mortal Kombat, so be sure to go on there, compete.playstation.com, and sign up for those. Lots of articles and videos, interviews, strategy stuff, etc. So you'll be able to learn what the pros are doing and how they got to a spot like we're at here. So go to compete.playstation.com. That's always the main place to go to. It's also where you're going to be able to see where and when you can watch these players play it out in the overall regional finals. So I now am going to look at this list. I'm fairly confident in this. Again, not official. This is my own math. Number 1 in seed, right, is going to be Wazminator. Or Waz. I guess he switches to Waz. Sorry, it still has his old name on there. So Waz with an unbelievable amount of points, almost as much as like everybody else combined, because Waz is OP. Swazzy in the number 2 spot. Swazzy's been doing very, very well as well. Very much ahead of the rest of the pack. So then it starts to get way closer, right? Where third place will be Bajiga. And actually third place tied Bajiga, I believe, and Sagat. So there's going to be a tiebreaker there for the third and fourth place as far as seeding. And now we get into the bottom 4. Would you like to do the honors, Arma?
Yeah, down to the bottom 4 according to Chef Math, Chef and a little bit of Arma Math. Wi-Fi Scorpion gonna have 800 points. 5th spot, which is also gonna be tied with Lion Cox, who I believe also just secured 800 points according to the formulas on this Google Sheet document. And then after that, Solar Plexus with 770 points, getting that 7th place spot. And then the dreadful 8th place seeding, which, not necessarily a death sentence, but Temp, you got to do your homework. You got to study up that match. You know who your first opponent is going to be in that regional finals. You got about 3 or 4 weeks, depending on when the regional finals are going to be going. I believe we do have a date or somewhat of a date. The schedule's still being worked out. But Temp is going to be getting that final spot at 750 points. And according to our math, Ald and Gilbags are not qualifying here for the sub-regional top 8. Kind of and it all came down. If you look at Ald, if Ald won, let's say, 1 or 2 more matches this week, it could have been a completely different story. That could have been, somebody else getting those points, and Ald, could have bumped up to 8th or 7th, or, Ald usually does really, really good in these top 8s, but, all it takes is that one little slip up of consistency, and you can just kind of get passed up there. So, shout outs to all the players who just got by in there, all the players that, sneaked by, who weren't technically qualified before, but made an amazing display of skill and gameplay here of Mortal Kombat 11. I mean, this region, a lot of people say it's pretty one-sided because of Waz, but there's so much talent out here. It is. There's a lot of good players, a lot of good character diversity. Like I really, really enjoyed commentating these matches, man. So much good gameplay.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, Waz, I mean, we've got some great storylines going into the regional finals, right?
Yeah.
Of course, all the regional finals are the kind of the June 12th to 13th weekend, but be sure to go to compete.playstation.com to see when or follow the official NRS esports Twitter. I'm sure both of those are great ways to figure out when the official schedule is going to be released, as they got to coordinate all the different players. But I mean, sure, Waz is on top, but Waz also lost in the grand finals of the last bracket that he was in for the pro competition. Now
That's
that
true.
means that not untouchable, definitely can bleed, and then everybody else is so close in skill in the entire region. I mean, this is going to be, I think, probably one of the most contested regions as far as, I mean, our grand finals decided the fate of 4 different people as far as making it into the top 8. Grand finals for 4 people, that's wild. So, yeah, I mean, this has been an absolutely great path to watch. And of course, like you said, the character diversity is unbelievable. So, yeah, I mean, I'm very, very excited. Like I said, June 12th and 13th weekend. Check out around there. Check out the official channels to see when the actual finals are going to be. But, I mean, there's still, of course, the, not too long, not all that many hours. There will be the European finals to see who qualifies for those tournaments. But, I mean, yeah, congratulations to all of these players. Please wait for the official, announcements from the admins for who qualifies. But yeah, this has been a really great run, and we've only got for us personally in this region, only one more tournament ahead of us. Is there any last things you'd like to say before we close out and start getting ready for Europe?
Not much, man. Yeah, like Chef said, make sure you guys are tuning in, and I think it's in about 8 or 9 hours, something like that. Make sure you pay attention to the NRS Esports Twitter. Follow them if you're not already following them. Also follow Wonder Chef and myself if you guys want to be up to date on anything that we're doing or any big news in the community. And yeah, just shout out to Wonder Chef for having a great time here with me on the mic. Really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see how this regional finals pans out. I mean, you said it perfectly. Waz can definitely be defeated, and I think that's going to be like the main storyline here in the sub-regional final. So guys, make sure you're following all the right accounts. Make sure you're tuned in for that weekend there right around June 13th. And yeah, Chef, you're awesome. Thank you so much. And guys, don't go, I guess, take a nap. Get your regular sleep. In about 8 or 9 hours, there's going to be more intercontinental combat. So big shout out to everyone watching at home, and we'll see you at the next tournament.
No jokes, no gimmicks, just combat.
PlayStation.
Hey guys, Ketchup and Mustard here, and it's time to test your might in the Mortal Kombat 11 Open Series. Ready to rumble? Power on your PlayStation and head to the Events app, filter by type, and select a convenient date and time. Boot up MK11 and locate the PS4 Tournaments menu option. Click it to visit a familiar place, the Console Events tab. Sign up and prepare to play. Once registered, you can view your tournament details and check-in time. A notification will remind you to tighten your black belt and get over here for your match. Continue combat in the open qualifiers to close in on the competition. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the tournaments.
I'm your worst nightmare.
Any ring I step into is mine.
End of the line.
Then this fight is now personal.
It is exhausting being so perfect.